Day here in Atlanta, the holiday weekend, July 4th. Hope you're having a great one. High fives all around for the Braves, and rightfully so. It is game 2 of this 3-game series between the Braves and the Diamondbacks, and the Braves have won 8 in a row. Justin Kutcher alongside CJ Nikowski. And CJ, all the talk is about these Braves, but when you think about them, they don't have Glavine, Smoltz, Maddox, Chipper Jones, yet here they are in first place by a game and a half in the NL East. How are they doing it?
Well, this is definitely a new regime, a new look Braves. This team has been very resilient. They don't have those big names necessarily in the rotation anymore, but they bounce back after losing 2 big arms in spring training in Chris Medlin and also in Brandon Beachy. They go out, they get Irvin Santana, who's been outstanding, but also Aaron Harang, who really has been gold for this team. I don't think anybody expected him to pitch as well as he has pitched so far up to this point. You talk about that 8-game win streak that they're on. Only one time in that streak have they scored more than 5 runs. They're doing it, let's not call it small ball, but they're doing the little things right, getting clutch hits and winning the close games.
Time now for the batting lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Leading things off will be Ender Inciarte, playing center field. Batting second and playing left field is David Peralta. The first base, most likely starting first base when the All-Star game, Paul Goldschmidt. Miguel Montero will catch and back cleanup. Martin Prado will bat 5th and play third base. Aaron Hill at second will bat 6th. Gerardo Parra in right field bat 7th. Didi Gregorius will get the start at shortstop today and bat 8th. And Mike Balzinger will pitch and bat 9th for the D-backs. And they will face the veteran right-hander and Aaron Harang for Atlanta. Kirk Gibson, the manager of this Arizona Diamondback team. A lot of people will say he's kind of on the hot seat as the Diamondbacks have hired Tony La Russa to take over and be the leader of this organization now for baseball operations. And so here's Gibson, whose team has been decimated by injuries, trying to get them playing good baseball. 36 and 52 right now here on the season. Alan Trammell's bench coach. There's Aaron Harang warming up. Harang on the season, 7-6 at 3.69 ERA. He's already thrown 102 innings, 105 hits, 39 walks and 92 strikeouts. What are we looking for from Harang?
I tell you, look at those numbers when we talk about finding gold after he got released by the Cleveland Indians in spring training. He has been so good and filled a huge need. But plus and minus, he does not throw particularly hard. But what Aaron Harang does well is he works both sides of the plate, knows how to change speeds, and don't go for the gold. With Paul Goldschmidt in that lineup, he is the one guy you should pitch around. He's the guy that cannot beat you. So be very careful with Paul Goldschmidt today.
And I thought it was very telling. Freddie Gonzalez said to us today, you know, sometimes you watch Harang and he just knows how to pitch, and he'll walk a guy and you say, was that fatigue or is that what he wanted to do? And he'll say, nope, just didn't want to face him. I want to face somebody else. So he really does know what he's doing, and Freddie Gonzalez has done a marvelous job here with the Braves. Ender Inciarte will lead things off, the center fielder here for the D-backs. And this is not your typical July 5th day here in Atlanta, Georgia. You're probably thinking, what, it's 97 degrees, 98% humidity? No, it's like in the 80s with low humidity. I mean, this is almost a perfect day for baseball. Chris Johnson in at third base. Inciarte takes the first pitch, fastball, first strike.
Well, you talk about this weather today, and this is usually a multi-shirt kind of game, but I think they're going to make it with just one. Very nice here for Atlanta in early July.
On the outside corner, 0-2. Look at that. Humidity, 35%. It says partly sunny. Right now, it's mostly sunny. 0-2 is slap foul. Stays no balls and 2 strikes. Inciarte on the year, 235, no home runs and 7 RBIs. Has hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. Over that time, a .304 batting average. Check swing, ground ball to second base. Tommy La Stella makes the play, 1 away. Let's take a look at the defense for the Atlanta Braves. In the outfield from left to right, you've got the Upton brothers, Justin Upton in left, BJ Upton in center, and in right field is Jason Hayward. Around the horn in the infield, Freddie Freeman at first, Tommy La Stella at second, ANDRELTON Simmons at short, Chris Johnson at third, and behind the plate is the rookie Christian Bethancourt.
We talk about how good this team is playing, and the defense has been a big part of what they do. Again, kind of an unusual lineup. We know about the swings and misses, the starting rotation not quite being the same, but they do play very good defense, and probably, I say, arguably the best shortstop in all of baseball.
Yeah. Andrelton Simmons is special. David Peralta, he's off to a great start. Fastball in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Simmons won the Gold Glove last year at shortstop for the National League. Outside. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike here to Peralta. You saw Peralta's numbers. .330 in 29 games with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Pull to right field. That drops in for a base hit. A 1-out single for Peralta.
Not a bad pitch here by Harang. It didn't sound loud. As you see, it kind of cut a little bit at the end, but Peralta does a nice job of pulling his hands in, not quite getting all of the barrel to that ball, but just enough to get it into right field.
So a man on base here for Paul Goldschmidt. And this is the situation where you look at Goldschmidt's numbers, and these are fantastic. 307, 15 home runs, 55 RBIs, 31 doubles. And you say, why have they pitched to Goldschmidt? And when you look at this lineup, well, now you have to pitch to him with a runner on at first.
Well, I tell you, you can say the same thing about Giancarlo Stanton down in Miami. I thought this would be a year that we'd see him hit .220 with a .450 on base percentage. But Casey McGee has provided excellent protection for him, and both of those guys hitting very well with the averages up above 300. So sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. It seems like you would pitch around Paul Goldschmidt, but it hasn't been happening consistently.
Harang staying outside with the first 2 pitches against Goldschmidt. And as a pitcher, in this situation, are you still ultra careful with Goldschmidt? If you walk him, do you say, okay, I'd rather go after Montero?
Well, it's the first inning, and for a guy like Harang, if you're going to pitch around him or be very careful, you better have great confidence you can do it.
To right center field, 1 hops the wall. Peralta, he's being waved around third base. Simmons, the throw is well offline, and that's going to allow Goldschmidt to go to third base. So an RBI double for Goldschmidt. That's why you have to be careful with him. And he'll move to third on a throwing error by Simmons.
Well, the one thing that we say consistently about great hitters is that they can hit the off field. You don't hit for average unless you can hit the off fields. This is a 2-0 pitch, and it's almost center cut a little bit away. But Paul Goldschmidt does not try to do too much with that pitch. He drives it to right center. Does an outstanding job, but this cutoff throw was terrible. I don't know what happened there on Simmons after we were saying such nice things about him. But look at Paul Goldschmidt right there. That's a 2-0 count. A lot of guys are only waiting for their pitch, something that they can try to hit in the stands. He knew that might be the best pitch he's going to get in this at bat, and he doesn't let it get by.
So 1-0 Diamondbacks on top. Runner on third after the error by Simmons, and Miguel Montero at the plate. The infield is in. Montero goes the other way, slicing foul. No balls and 1 strike. Miguel Montero on the season, .259, 11 home runs, and 49 RBIs. Kirk Gibson's team with the early lead, trying to snap this 8-game winning streak for Atlanta. 0-1, pop foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you know you're going to get strikes for the most part with Aaron Harang. You know he's going to come right after you. And it has a little bit of that Greg Maddux feel. He throws a little bit harder than him, and not to make that kind of comp, but the approach for a hitter. Try to get to him early. You don't want this guy getting ahead of you. He knows how to finish hitters, and so far the Diamondbacks have had a pretty good game plan.
Harang steps off. The 0-2 to Montero. Flare to center field. Upton coming in. Got a bad read on it. Fell in front of him. In to score is Goldschmidt. An RBI single for Montero, and that was just weird for B.J. Upton in center field. It looked like he had a beat on it, then came in slowly, and that ball falls in front of him.
Well, sometimes you're going to get fooled by the swing. The ball was not hit very hard, but it looked like a full swing, and so he probably misread it right off the bat and then tried to make up for it. And then you get caught in between on that one. Do I dive? Do I slide? Do I try to catch that one in the air? He tried to catch it clean in the air and did not have enough room to get there. And that's an 0-2 hit right there for Harang, and I know he's a good pitcher, knows how to work the count. But with a man on third and 1 out, you got to be a little bit more careful there. Take a chance at a strikeout, throw something much further away from the plate and try to finish that hitter.
2-0 Arizona leading. Martin Prado at the plate. Fastball is low and outside for ball 1. Prado, 268, 3 home runs and 34 RBIs. This is another guy who could be a commodity for somebody at the trade deadline. Versatile, second base, third base, left field, a veteran bat.
Well, you know that the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to get calls on him. The Toronto Blue Jays are a team that's been thrown out there for Martin Prado. Very versatile, good hitter. I just don't know if the Diamondbacks are in a situation necessarily where they want to move him. They haven't signed through 2016. This is an organization that expects to compete next year. It hasn't happened this year. And so I don't think you necessarily move key pieces just because you're not in it this year.
On the outside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike.
For me, he's the kind of guy where if you do move him, you need big league players or almost big league ready players. You're not going to go sign him or go trade him for an A-ball pitcher with a big arm that has a lot of upside. The Diamondbacks are closer than that. You have to use your commodities wisely.
2-1, runner takes off on the hit and run. Simmons tries to shovel to second, no good. The throw to first base, not in time. So sloppy defense here in this first inning for the Braves.
When we watch Andrelton Simmons here, we know how good his range is, the hands, the arm, all of it. He tried to do this in one sweeping motion. And a lot of times, once you see the runner going, you just go ahead and concede that he's going to be at second base and take you out at first. Andrelton Simmons right there, a little bit guilty of trying to make too much happen and get a double play out of that. Tommy La Stella probably not anticipating that flip. And it ends up being an ugly play, and you get no outs instead of 1.
Second error of the inning for Andrelton Simmons. And the first pitch fastball to Aaron Hill is in there, first strike. Simmons a throwing error, now a fielding error. And you could add the misplay in center field by B.J. Upton. And there's just 1 out. Breaking ball pulled down the left field line, foul into the seats. No balls and 2 strikes here to Hill. Aaron Hill, 248, 6 home runs and 42 RBIs. Another guy who has been rumored to be on the trading block. I would say that at least one of these guys does get dealt before the trade deadline is over.
Well, I think there's a good chance, especially when you talk about the middle of the infield.
A ground ball to Simmons. Goes to second for 1, to first base in time. A 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. But Arizona gets 2 in the inning. It's 2-0 at the end of a half an inning. Well, hang on a second. Here comes Kirk Gibson out to maybe ask for a replay on this at first base.
And
they are going to review this.
I'm sorry, it's that situation where you have 30 seconds to make your decision. All the other times, if it happens in the middle of an inning, you can go out there and you can talk about it and waste some time. But when it's the end of the inning, you have 30 seconds to make that decision. And I thought when I first saw it live, I thought he was safe. But we'll see. They're going to take a look at it. It's a nice view right here. Got to get the back of the glove. I think they're going to go. I think they'll end up turning this over, because when you look at that view right there, what you're looking for is when that baseball hits the back of Freddie Freeman's glove, not when it goes through the glove, but it has to hit the back. That's the way Major League Baseball explained it to us. And it looks like when that happened, that Aaron Hill's foot was on the back.
The review is underway. And if it is overturned, it would be a fielder's choice 6-4. 2 away with Hill on at first and Montero on at third.
You see Harang's going back out to the mound, but let's see this replay. I think they're going to turn this one over. He certainly did look safe there.
There it is. And a good challenge by Kirk Gibson. Keeps this inning alive. 2 runs in the inning, and now first and third with 2 outs.
That's the good news about replay, is that it's working. I mean, it extends this inning right now for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Runners at first and third. Another opportunity to add on. This has been the good part. I think people generally are happy with replay. We want to make sure we're getting everything right, and for the most part, I think we have.
The question now is, can Arizona take advantage of this with Gerardo Parra at the plate? Runners on the corners and 2 outs. Parra to right field. Hayward coming in. He's not going to get there in time. 1 run scores. Down to third base goes Hill. And the D-backs do take advantage of the overturned call.
How about Parra? This is what we talk about with a guy like this, with Aaron Harang. If you're going to get to him early. You know he's going to throw strikes. And here's a first pitch fastball. It really just splits the plate. And Parra jumps all over and does a good job. I'm watching this and wondering if Jason Hayward had a chance to lay out, but probably not now after watching that replay. You don't want to take that chance. He misses that ball, and it's probably going to be 2 runs.
See, that one I would say no layout, but the play by Upton I would say yes layout, because it's a runner on third, only 1 runner there.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. I think B.J. Upton probably knew that, or will know that thinking about it, but at the time just did not feel good about going full extension and laying out for that ball.
Runners on the corners now. Didi Gregorius at the plate, and the pitch gets past the catcher Bethancourt. Down to second base goes Parra. Holding at third is Hill. So an incredibly sloppy inning here by the Braves to start off this ballgame.
And Bethancourt in there now, replacing Evan Gattis. And you see that fastball kind of took off. It looked like a 2-seam fastball that had some late movement that Bethancourt wasn't quite anticipating. But this is the kind of inning where you cannot have your catcher getting lazy right now. You talked about how sloppy the Braves look. I'll make sure everybody's trying to stay sharp and get this inning finished.
Fastball misses up high. 2 balls and no strikes here to Gregorius, who's hitting .227 in 19 games with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. The everyday shortstop last year lost that starting job in the spring. Has been back and forth. Now they're going to intentionally walk him to bring up the pitcher, Mike Balzinger.
Well, that certainly makes sense given the situation, especially once you find behind 2-0. But I always wonder, you think about momentum in baseball, and Aaron Harang makes a pitch and thinks that he has gotten a double play to end the inning. And after having a rough inning, it's almost kind of a big exhale. Okay, this one's over. Let me kind of, go relax for a minute, get a drink, reset, and get going. Well, he get pulled back on the field. The inning's not over because of that instant replay. And so far, the couple of pitches that he's thrown since that's happened has not been particularly sharp.
Hill on at third base, Parra at second, and now Gregorius over at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Mike Balzinger. The pitcher takes the first pitch up high for ball 1. Balzinger is 2 for 16 on the season, does have an RBI. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Well, if you're Balzinger here, are you just taking a strike?
Absolutely. I would have been taking a strike before he even got up there, because again of what we saw coming back from the turnover from the replay. Aaron Harang has thrown 1 strike and it's gone for a base hit, and he's thrown 4 balls.
There is the strike, 2-1. Two-one, ground ball to second. La Stella, tough hop, makes the play, and that'll do it. So Arizona gets 3 in the inning, with the Braves coming up trailing 3-0. Arizona leading Atlanta. Here is the batting order for the Braves. B.J. Upton leads off. Andrelton Simmons bats second. Freddie Freeman in the 3-hole. Justin Upton will bat fourth. Jason Hayward bats fifth. Chris Johnson in the 6-hole. Tommy La Stella, Christian Bethancourt, and Aaron Harang round out the bottom third of the order. And they will face the right-hander Mike Bolsinger. Bolsinger on the season 1-4 with a 4.53 ERA, making his 8th start, 43 2/3 innings, 13 walks and 38 strikeouts.
Now here's an opportunity for Bolsinger going against the Atlanta Braves. We talk about exposing their aggression. We know the Atlanta Braves like to swing. We know they like to swing and miss a lot. It's part of what happens with that lineup. Take advantage of that. You don't have to split the plate necessarily when you're behind in the count. An opportunity knocking for him. Here is a chance for him to earn his spot for next year. He was recalled on June 17th, second time for him. He's been pitching much better than his first stint, and with the situation that the Diamondbacks are in, he could start earning himself in that opening day, a spot in that opening day rotation right now.
B.J. Upton to lead things off here for the Braves. Upton riding a career best 10-game hitting streak. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Upton 211, 7 home runs, 24 RBIs. In the air to right center field. Enciarte on the run, not gonna get there. Upton, that's second. He's going to take a try for 3, and he will be in there easily. A leadoff triple for B.J. Upton.
Well, it really has been amazing to see what B.J. Upton has done in the leadoff spot. Everybody thought Freddie Gonzalez was crazy. You talk about the 10-game hitting streak, but he does a great job here. Very similar to the Paul Goldschmidt at bat, where his catcher is set up away. That pitch ends up being middle away, but it's up, but does not try to do too much with it. And he talked about, we talked to Freddie before the game about B.J. Upton willing to go to right field a little bit more. He hasn't changed his approach too much, but he believes in it, and the swing is looking a lot better.
A new career high 11-game hitting streak for B.J. Upton on his 5th triple of the season. Now Simmons at the plate. He takes the first pitch low and outside. Andrelton Simmons 259, 5 home runs, 25 RBIs. A chance to get one of those runs back after committing 2 errors in the top half of the inning. Of the 3 runs, 2 were earned against Aaron Harang. And it's 2-0.
And Andrelton Simmons swings about as hard as anybody in baseball for me. You don't realize it as much. You don't think of him as that kind of guy. But he takes humongous swings. Even with 2 strikes, he doesn't cut down. That's part of his game plan. He's got some power. A bunch of home runs last year, 5 this year.
Outside now, 3 balls and no strikes to Simmons. Could it be one of those days, slugfest here in Atlanta?
It very well could be. Might have to change my flight.
Taken all the way, 3-1. Three runs in top half of the inning. On 4 hits for Arizona. And now Simmons swing and miss, 3-2. The Braves won last night 5-2 to extend their winning streak to 8 games. Urban Santana with a good start for Atlanta. Freddie Freeman on deck. 3-2, ground ball up the middle, base hit for Simmons. It's 3-1.
And who says you can't have guys hitting 1 and 2 in your lineup with on-base percentages below 300? These guys continue to get it done. First B.J. Upton with the triple, and now Andrelton Simmons on a full count at that, working the count, hitting a hard ground ball up the middle. And you just start to get that feeling with a game like this that who is going to be the first starter to be able to stop it, as both offenses come out swinging the bat pretty well. It doesn't get any easier right now for Bolsinger.
Freddie Freeman at the plate. He can't hold up on that swing. 0-1. Freeman, 293, 13 home runs, 46 RBIs. Also has 24 doubles. Pulled foul. Nice play by Goldschmidt, though. No balls and 2 strikes. You said it before, but it is a matchup of the 2 best first basemen in the National League with Freddie Freeman and Paul Goldschmidt.
Absolutely. 2 very good first basemen. Also 2 guys that are young. One lefty, one righty. Both swing it. Both play great defense. Goldschmidt likely to be, I'm sure, the All-Star winner. But Freddie Freeman is going to be right there with him.
Outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bolsinger. Goldschmidt has the comfortable lead in the fan voting over actually Mark Reynolds of Milwaukee. A look over at Simmons. Nice pick by Goldschmidt.
The Brewers fans have really come out and supported their players in the All-Star voting. I think they've made a really good push, which is sometimes part of the process. It's not always about, we don't just take, hey, this here's the best player 1 through 9. We let the fans get involved, and certainly they can have a major influence. Oh, called the ball.
A balk here against Bolsinger allows Simmons to go down to second. All right, so just a recap of what we have had here in the first inning. Let's see the balk here first.
I guess he's calling that he didn't stop. It was a late call by home plate umpire Laz Diaz, but he's probably watching it. But boy, I tell you what, that was
didn't
late.
stop. That's what he said. Didn't stop. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Freeman. And the dirt 2-2. Okay, so we have had 2 errors in 1 inning by Andrelton Simmons. You don't see that very often. We had a call overturned as the 3rd out of the inning on a potential inning-ending double play. 3 runs in the top half of the inning. A leadoff triple by B.J. Upton. And now a balk against Mike Bolsinger. Oh, and also a pass ball. And there are no outs here in the bottom half of the first, as it is now 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Freddie Freeman.
Well, when you're a young pitcher like Bolsinger, early in his career, first year of getting major league action, things have a tendency to go a little fast. And this inning right here now, you get a 3-run lead, the triple, the base hit. You talk about it, you're facing Freddie Freeman, you're thinking about keeping Simmons close. Your brain starts to go a lot faster. You have a tendency to maybe do things like balk.
Good job with the off-speed pitch. Gets Freeman to chase it for the first out of the inning. The defense behind Bolsinger in the outfield from left to right. David Peralta in left field. Ender Inciarte in center. Gerardo Parra in right. Around the horn in the infield, Paul Goldschmidt at first. Aaron Hill at second. Didi Gregorius at short. Martin Prado at third. And behind the plate is Miguel Montero.
I think one thing that went unnoticed there, too, was that after the balk, Aaron Hill walks in, goes and talks to Bolsinger, calm him down a little bit, give him a breather, and he responds well by striking out Freddie Freeman.
Here's Justin Upton. Takes the fastball up high for ball 1. Upton, the former D-back, hitting .271 with 16 home runs and 47 RBIs. Outside, 2-0. It was a 17-minute top half of the inning. 2-0 off speed pitch missing. Now 3 balls and no strikes to Upton. Aaron Harang gave up 2 earned runs in the top half of the inning. Now 3-0. Do you give Upton the green light here?
I do not. And just because Bolsinger seems to be struggling a little bit, he doesn't look very comfortable. I'm going to take another pitch. That's why I'm up here. Nailed it. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with guys getting the green light, but you want it to count, and that's a pitch that ends up being up, but not the good kind of up, almost too far up in the zone. a tough pitch to get under and really get backspin on. You get locked in. It's okay, 3-0 green light, but you get locked into one spot, and if he doesn't throw it there, you don't swing.
3-1 is up high, ball 4. Our keys to the game brought to you by Ford Service. What are your keys?
Well, we have one key here for each team, but really practicing patience for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they actually did a pretty good job of that. Once they saw a pitch that they liked, they jumped on it, but they didn't chase anything that Aaron Harang was throwing out of the zone. And stay clutch for the Atlanta Braves. This is what they've done. Talked about in the opener, where they really have only had one big offensive explosion during this 8-game win streak. Everything else has been relatively close games, and they've been getting big clutch hits in situations. You talked about it, looking at that lineup. We don't see a ton of home runs. We don't see a ton of high averages. We've seen clutch hitting. Certainly that's going to carry you.
Mike Harkey, the pitching coach, out to speak with his pitcher, Mike Bolsinger, and an early tomahawk chop here at Turner Field. Coming out in the bottom half of the first inning. They're riding this 8-game winning streak, gave up 3 runs in the top half of the inning. And they realize with Jason Hayward at the plate, he represents the go-ahead run. Hayward on the season, 245, 8 home runs, 31 RBIs. Simmons at second, Justin Upton at first base. And the fastball in the outside corner for a strike.
And Bolsinger has a pretty good ground ball rate at 54%, which you think maybe there's an opportunity here for him to induce that double play. One thing that's nice about having runners at first and second, you're not holding the runner at third, so Goldschmidt will play back here. Hayward can run pretty well, though.
Outside, 1-1. By the way, call Delta and change your flight. I have a feeling.
You're feeling it, huh?
Change up, floats up high. 2 balls and a strike here to Jason Hayward.
And Bolsinger just really seems to be kind of battling himself. You can tell he's not comfortable. You see that 1-1 changeup. Looks like he's trying to force it in the zone and really not letting it flow. And that's not uncommon. Again, for young pitchers, first inning, trying to use that inning to get comfortable at times.
Tries to spin one in and does. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And a lot of behind in the count off speed pitches as well. Also.
The 2-2 to Hayward. Ground ball shortstop. Gregorius to second for 1. Hailed a difficult play, not in time. Hayward beats it out. A good try by Aaron Hill.
And great execution on that pitch by Bolsinger, talking about trying to get that double play when you have runners at first and second. He got the ground ball, but Aaron Hill didn't get there late. It's just because of the way the play developed and where he was playing Hayward to pull, wasn't able to get there in time. Really close. But again, we know Hayward can get down the line pretty well. Good attempt by Hill.
First and third, 2 outs here for Atlanta with Chris Johnson at the plate. Chris Johnson, also a former Diamondback, part of that trade with Justin Upton. He takes the first pitch for a strike. Johnson starting to heat up, now hitting .281 with 3 home runs and 27 RBIs. Martin Prado went from Atlanta to Arizona in that deal.
How about what Chris Johnson did? I don't want to say he was a throw-in. I mean, he's certainly a big league player, but they weren't sure what they were going to get. He comes over to Atlanta last year and it's .321. They definitely weren't anticipating that.
0-1, swing and a miss, no balls and 2 strikes. Miguel Montero relays the signs to his infield. 0-2, the runner at first is Hayward. Does run well. 9 for 12 on the season, stolen bases. Right outside. Again, it just doesn't seem like he has a feel for that changeup yet.
No, that ball cut, ended up staying up. You see him kind of look back at the mound almost as if he slipped. And when you're going through, as he's looking, we see him looking at his hand, you wonder if he's, it's not that humid today. Now, there could be that condition here, but it doesn't seem to be the case. But it does appear that something doesn't quite feel right, especially on the off-speed pitches, where they're just kind of floating in there and not being thrown with conviction.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Johnson. Chris Johnson, as we said, starting to heat up since June the 9th. Is hitting .351. Trying to get a hit here, make it a 3-2 ball game. And he chases the fastball high and outside. 2 strikeouts in here for Bolsinger, but the Braves get 1 back. We're through 1. It's 3-1 Arizona. It's 3-1 Arizona over the Braves. Justin Kutcher alongside CJ Nikowski here on Fox Sports 1. And it's the top of the order for Arizona as they batted around for the 8th time this year in that first inning. Ender Inciarte will lead things off here against Aaron Harang.
And the only adjustment you really want to see from Aaron Harang is just a little bit better on the 0-2 pitches. He had 3 0-2 pitch counts last inning. Just a little bit better execution.
Inciarte takes the first pitch fastball in there for a strike. Inciarte grounded out to second to open up the ball game. Then it was 3 straight hits by the D-backs. Off-speed pitch misses outside. 1-1. Fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
When you think about saving your game plan, starting pitcher generally wants to try to get through the lineup, not showing too much, but we're in the 2nd inning and back at the top of the order. So Aaron Harang can have to go right at these guys.
Pulled foul, stays 1-2 here to Inciarte. At one point, Harang was one of those top pitching prospects with the Oakland A's. I remember seeing him in AAA with the white cleats. As the entire Oakland A's organization throughout the minor leagues, they all have to wear white cleats. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's been on the move. Ground ball to shortstop. Simmons. Good adjustment. Makes the play. 1 away.
That was a great adjustment. I think one of the things that are really hard for people to appreciate are the hands that Andrelton Simmons had right there on that play.
David Peralta back on June 8th against Terang. His first career home run, and apparently he knew it.
And that's a moment you never forget. Although I never had that moment, but that first home run sounds like something you would never forget.
Is the first home run you give up as a pitcher something you never forget?
John Cangelosi, 1995, Houston Astros. Maybe you forget it. I don't know. Some people might.
Do you have the date?
I want to say June. At first start, we probably June 6th. So it was probably June 11th or 12th.
Nice.
Don't ask me where I parked my car. I have no idea.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Peralta. Slow breaking ball, 1-2.
It's worse that it was John Cangelosi. Not a knock on him, but I think he had about 12 career home runs.
Fouled away. Stays 1-2 here to David Peralta. On deck, Paul Goldschmidt had the RBI double his first time up. Off speed pitch is fouled back again. Stays 1-2. That's something that's different about today's game. A guy like David Peralta, a rookie, hits a home run and watches it.
A little bit, yeah. It's, I think celebrating is getting a little bit more commonplace and a little bit more accepted than it used to be.
Estella, good positioning, makes the play. 2 away. Here comes Paul Goldschmidt. And we talk about how this guy is an all-star, and look at what he has done since 2012. This is among major league first basemen.
Well, without a doubt, Paul Goldschmidt has emerged, and a guy that we certainly expect to be in the National League MVP conversation perennially. Kirk Gibson, when you ask him, remember, he says, hey, you know, is this guy, how's he flown under the radar? He said, I don't think he has anymore. I think the nation pretty much knows about him, loves him as a player, maybe even more as a person. He really could not stop talking about what a great guy Paul Goldschmidt was, even off the field.
Breaking ball, 1-1. But let me ask you, I mean, you do the whip around. Do you think people around the country really know who Paul Goldschmidt is?
I would say probably not, outside of your very intelligent baseball fan that follows the game closely.
A 1-2-3 inning work by Harang in the second. We go to the bottom half of the second. It's 3-1 D-backs. Bottom half of the second inning, it'll be the bottom third of the order. Tommy La Stella, Christian Bethancourt, and Aaron Harang to face Mike Bolsinger. And you wonder if Bolsinger can settle down after that first inning. Struck out Chris Johnson with runners on the corners to end the first.
Well, that's certainly one of the many things that Kirk Gibson and Kevin Towers, the general manager of this team, will look for. How he reacts to adversity. He's been spotted a lead. He worked out of some trouble in that first inning, and so they'd like to see him be able to come back and get settled in. A very similar inning that, much like Aaron Harang just had.
First pitch is up high for ball one. On the outside corner, 1-1 here to La Stella. On the season, 277, no home runs, 14 RBIs. He has now kind of solidified that second base position here for Atlanta. Missing down low, 2-1.
Well, that was certainly a big question mark here for the Atlanta Braves with the struggles of Dan Uggla, what they were going to do with him, and more importantly, who was going to play second base. And so far, it seems like Tommy La Stella has really taken that role over.
In the air to left field. David Peralta is there. One away. Tonight it's baseball night in America on Fox as Nelson Cruz and the Orioles battle David Ortiz and the defending World Series champion Red Sox. The Red Sox took game one of that doubleheader today, 3-2. You can also see Buster Posey and the Giants take on the Padres, or the Mets and the Rangers. Our MLB doubleheader continues at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The AL East standings right now, well, things have changed just a bit. Entering today, Baltimore had a half-game lead over Toronto, but they lost game one, so now they're tied. The Yankees are 2.5 back, and Boston 7 back. The first pitch to Bethancourt is taken for a strike.
I'd say you have a hard time saying which is the biggest surprise in the American League East when you look at those standings. Is it that Baltimore and Toronto are tied for first, or that Boston is doing so terrible? The Tampa Bay Rays, a team that probably should have been near the top of that division, sitting at the bottom and really struggling. A lot of surprises in that division this year.
I think it's Tampa Bay. Bethancourt gets into one to center field. Inciarte going back at the wall, reaches up, can't make the catch. Bethancourt to second with a one-out double.
Well, Bethancourt put a charge in this ball. It's a hanging breaking ball. We talk about Bolsinger struggling with the off-speed stuff, and Inciarte made a great attempt to get there, and he was there. He was just unable to pull it in. Bethancourt hammered that ball.
I think he just jumped too early.
He did. There's a lot of room out there. This is a big ballpark. He ran a long way. Did get a very good jump. But just seemed to run out of gas and just missed that ball.
Harang, the pitcher at the plate, fouls the first one back. Aaron Harang on the season is 2 for 28. I would say reduce the fraction. It's 1 for 14, but that still doesn't help me get the batting average.
Don't ask me.
0-71. No balls and 2 strikes. Two chases that one. He's going to run down to first to draw the throw. Staying at second is Bethancourt. That's a third strikeout for Mike Bolsinger. Strikeout 2-3.
Another very competitive at bat right there for Harang.
Come on, as a pitcher, I mean, he fouled one back.
He did, I guess. That's true. It's a good point. It's a good point. Give credit where credit's due.
2 outs now for B.J. Upton, who tripled to lead off the first for the Braves. Came around to score on the RBI single by ANDRELTON Simmons. And the fastball is up high for ball one.
Going back to that Harang at bat, kind of surprising that he didn't try to bunt. We see the batting average at 0.71. There's 1 out. You're thinking just push one to the right side and get your runner to third. Apparently wanted to try to knock that run in himself.
Timeout asked for by the catcher Miguel Montero. Fastball in there for a strike. 1-1. The Braves have increased their scoring per game, and they've also increased their record 8-0 over those last 8 games.
And looking at that batting average, 2 outs, runners in scoring position, that's going to go up and down over the course of the season. But when you do have a nice streak like this, you can probably point to a statistic like that, and you're going to see that the Braves are doing well in that area. It's just about timely hitting, getting those hits at the right time, guys in scoring position, but especially with 2 outs.
Inside. And now it's 3 balls and a strike here to B.J. Upton. Trying to get that hit with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position so far today. Atlanta's 0 for 1 in that position. B.J. Upton now with a career high 11-game hitting streak. 3-1 off speed pitch taken for a strike. 3-2. And Upton didn't like it, and these fans here in Atlanta didn't like it either. Laz Diaz is the home plate umpire.
Well, again, we see another off-speed pitch behind in the count, and it certainly did look like it was up. Curveball just really didn't break. It just kind of hung there.
The payoff pitch. Popped up in the air to right field. Parra shading his eyes from the sun. And that'll do it here in the second. No runs and a hit. 1 man left on. We're through 2. It's a 2-run lead for Arizona. Diamondbacks lead the Braves. Justin Kutcher alongside C.J. Nitkowski. It'll be 4-5-6 for Arizona. Miguel Montero, Martin Prado, Aaron Hill against Aaron Harang. Harang worked a quick 1-2-3 second. Montero, the RBI single in the first, came around to score a run on the RBI by Gerardo Parra. And the fastball misses down low for ball 1. We talk about Paul Goldschmidt kind of flying under the radar. I think Miguel Montero, another guy who falls under that category of flying under the radar. And look at what this guy has done since 2011, where he ranks among Major League Baseball catchers.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the market that they're in, playing in Arizona, and a team that needs to get to the postseason. I think for at least the average baseball fan to learn more about guys like Miguel Montero.
All right, outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. You know, you think about catchers since 2011, and the big names that you'd think of are probably, you know, Buster Posey and Brian McCann, Joe Mauer. And Mauer, of course, now playing first base. The ground ball past the diving La Stella. And Montero's now 2 for 2 on the day.
Well, they were playing Montero to pull a little bit more, and he finds a hole, and this ball really isn't even up the middle. And we were talking to Freddie Gonzalez before the game about timing the Stella and the job that he's done at second base, and they knew that he's more of a hitter than he is a defender. Not that he's saying he could have got to that ball, but he said his range is, you know, probably falls more in the average range for major leaguers, second baseman especially. So he does a pretty good job, but that ball is probably not going to get to him. Most second basemen aren't.
The leadoff single from Montero. Prado rounded into a fielder's choice his first time. Does one the second time, and this is a 6-4-3 double play. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA, and here's Kevin Burkhardt. All right, thanks, Kevin. 2 away now for Aaron Hill, the NL East. What does it look like? Well, entering today, a 1.5 lead for the Braves over the Nationals. And the Nationals have that kind of dilemma. What do? Ryan Zimmerman had moved to left field, looked good out there in left field. And now Bryce Harper comes back. Harper said that he would play himself in center field. That kind of ruffled some feathers. Gabe Kapler wrote a good piece on FoxSports.com about it. What do you do? What do you do if you're Matt Williams?
Well, first thing I do if I'm Bryce Harper is I don't tell my manager the lineup that he should fill out. But you know, that's just something you shouldn't do. And I think he regrets it and probably understands it.
A strikeout to Hill, and that'll end the third. 3-1 D-backs. Holiday weekend. Hope you had a great 4th of July. It is, well, that's like Bob Ross type hair.
That can't work well in the humidity. Now, we got a good day today, but when you have the typical July, August Atlanta weather, it can't work. It's got to be hot under that.
Put a little tree up here.
Maybe it comes off. Maybe it's not real.
Andrelton Simmons will lead things off here in the third. The Braves trailing 3-1. And the first pitch misses inside for ball 1. Simmons had the RBI single his first time up. Fouls it back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bolsinger had some trouble in the first. Gave up that leadoff triple. They did get a big strikeout of Freddie Freeman in that first inning. Gave up a 1-out double in the second. Got around that. Simmons trying to bunt for a base hit. Bunts it foul. 1-2. It's like 2 different players. Simmons versus lefties and versus righties.
Well, you see a lot of that, and then what that tells you for me when I see the 347 against the lefties, that he's good on the ball middle away, because chances are your average lefty is going to run that ball away from you. 2-seam fastball, changeup. That's what most lefties do with the hook to go with it. But he's probably most likely really good on the ball away.
Chase the fastball up and in. Strikeout number 4 for Bolsinger. And that'll bring up Freddie Freeman. Freeman was signed to the big contract extension in the offseason. 8 years, $135 million. And they think this guy is someone to build around for the Atlanta Braves, and that's the reason why he gets the job done. Driving in runs, his numbers on the year: 13 home runs, 46 RBIs, and he plays a good first base.
Well, I think the Braves made a smart investment. It's not something you see them do very often. You go with the big contract. You talk about the 8-year deal for Freddie Freeman. I think that's one that's going to pay off for them. One of the things I love in Freddie Freeman's game is the power that he has the other way. We don't see it as much as we used to, but a lot of guys hit the ball the other way for base hits, but he can hit the ball the other way over the fence for home runs.
There he goes the other way on cue. Freeman to left center field all the way to the wall. Inciarte picks it up, and that'll be the 25th double of the year for Freddie Freeman.
Well, we use this phrase all the time. Take what the pitcher gives you. Set up on the corner. Looked like a little cutter that came back, but again, doesn't try to do too much. Keep the hands in, drive the ball the other way, and he hit it well, but he has even more than that in his bat. We've seen him go over that wall to left field. It was probably that little bit of cut at the end. Otherwise, that ball may be off or over the wall. Very nice swing by Freddie Freeman.
Some good company on that graphic. Goldschmidt, Stanton, McCutchen.
And that's going to be your MVP conversation right there, outside of Troy Tulowitzki, who will be in there as well. But those are the 4 guys plus Tulo that you'll be talking about at the end of the year for most valuable player in the National League.
Justin Upton takes the first pitch up and in. Now Miguel Montero goes out to speak with his pitcher. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in True HD on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.com for details. And fans, you can follow every game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, score, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit MLB.com today. 1 ball, no strikes here to Upton. 2-0. Upton walked his first time up. Trying to get that man in from second, Freddie Freeman. Good breaking ball, 2-1. And that's the respect right there, also having first base open. That Bolsinger on a 2-0 count doesn't throw a good hitter in Justin Upton a fastball.
Well, I feel like we've seen just a lot of that from him today, which tells me he's not that comfortable with his fastball. Not that his off-speed stuff has looked particularly strong either, but that's just kind of been the game plan for him.
Comes back with the fastball, and Upton was late on it. 2-2.
And now it could be based on the fact that we talked about this in the open, that this is an aggressive team. And this is a team that swings and misses a lot, 5th most in Major League Baseball. And so you're thinking, I don't want to throw that fastball down the middle 1 on behind, because I know they're going to take a big swing.
A 2-2 from Bolsinger. Reached, hit to third, tough play, Prado the long throw, not in time, infield single for Justin Upton.
Wow, what a play by Martin Prado right there. And Braves fans certainly appreciate it. A very popular player when he played here in Atlanta. The only reason he's safe is because of how slow he hit this ball. If he hits just a little bit harder, he's going to be out. But Prado knew that he was probably going to be out of time in a quick exchange and a strong throw, but still not enough to get Justin Upton.
I love that first replay of how Prado set himself up by planting that rear foot, that plant foot, as he was about to field that ball, so he knew he could get rid of it quickly.
Absolutely. He knows he has to be in throwing position as he's catching the ball. And a good quick exchange and really a great throw. You'll see a lot of third basemen and a lot of infielders intentionally throw that ball in the dirt. You know, short hop it to the first baseman, but he knew he had to try to get it there in the air if he had any chance at getting Justin Upton.
First and second, one out for Jason Hayward. Ground ball up the middle, past Hill. Here comes Freeman rounding third. He's going to score as the throw's going to come into second. An RBI single for Hayward, and it's 3-2.
We talk about this all the time, being a game of inches, and really hit that ball 2 feet to the right, and it's probably an inning-ending double play. But instead, Jason Hayward has himself a base hit, and the Braves are in business now here, first and third. We just won out, a chance to tie this game.
Freeman had the double. The RBI single by Hayward. It's first and third. Upton at third. Hayward at first. And 58 pitches already for Bolsinger. Chris Johnson struck out his first time up with 2 outs and runners on the corners. And he fouls the first one back, 0-1. The Braves, with this 8-game winning streak, have taken over the lead in the NL East, entering today a game and a half in front of the Nationals. Hayward takes off from first. The throw down. He's in a rundown. Throw back to first, and they got him. Upton couldn't get off the bag at third. And here comes Freddie Gonzalez out to argue this one.
Well, he's going to buy some time. This was another close play at first base. Good throw here by Hill. Let's see if that hand gets in there.
I think he's out.
He is out for sure. The mistake Jason Hayward made there is that once he decided to pull up and realized he was going to be out on second base, is that he doesn't get into a rundown. The idea there is that you get into a rundown, especially once the ball gets to the first baseman, because he'll have his back to the runner, and that's when Justin Upton will try to make that move, and they try to steal a run. But the Arizona Diamondbacks executed that perfect.
Caught stealing 2-4-3. Hayward is out. Upton still at third base, and the count's 0-2 to Chris Johnson. And Johnson strikes out for the second time today. The Braves get one more back. It's 3-2 at the end of 3. the inning. Top of the fourth we go here in Atlanta. 3-2 Arizona over Atlanta. Aaron Harang has certainly settled down after that first inning, where the D-backs sent 9 men to the plate. Gerardo Parra will lead things off in the fourth. Parra, an RBI single his first time up. First pitch fastball is outside for ball 1. Breaking ball is fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike to Parra. We'll check in with Kevin Burkhardt in a moment back in LA to find out what's going on with the Cubs and the Nationals. Line foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Parra. The D-backs are 13.5 back in the NL West of the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers have overtaken the San Francisco Giants for first place in the NL West. Ground ball to first base. Excuse me, to second base. La Stella's right there. 1 away, and here is the game break. Let's go back to Kevin. All right, thank you. So the Nationals trying to pick up a game if they can against these Braves. The Braves trail by 1. But I'm amazed about what the Dodgers have done, or conversely, what the Giants haven't done recently, and how they've been struggling so to let the Dodgers close that gap in seemingly like 2 weeks.
The timing was unbelievable, and you almost feel like it's 2013 all over again, that the Dodgers are getting ready to run away with the division. They did it a year ago around this time, a little bit earlier. They got Puig, and then Hanley Ramirez came off the DL, and they just ran away with the division. Well, right now Matt Kemp has gotten it going finally after being moved to left field. Clayton Kershaw is just pitching like we've never seen before. He's just been unworldly, and now they have everybody going. Now they don't have Hanley Ramirez fully healthy, but for the most part they have everybody on the field, which they haven't had all year, and it just seems like they're poised to make that run and really take over this division.
A 1.5 lead over the Giants. Gregorius to center field. B.J. Upton is there. 2 outs here in the fourth. The Game Changer profile brought to you by T-Mobile, official sponsor of Game Changers. This happened last night, and this is a game changer. The Cubs traded Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill to the A's. The big player they got back in return is this prospect Addison Russell. Also Dan Straley came over. And you think about, what this does for both teams. I think it's one of those trades where it benefits both teams.
Oh, absolutely. Basically, based on the stage that each team is in right now. The Oakland A's are in win now mode, although they're not used to necessarily being in that mode. They're there. They need to win a playoff series, and this is the kind of move that'll help them do that.
Bolsinger to right field. We'll talk more about this when we come back. It's 3-2 Arizona over Atlanta. on the Coca-Cola Sky Field. Gets a run down to first base. It's 3-2 Diamondbacks and Braves. Maybe some players can take some note of how hard these guys are running down.
I was going to say, I think there's a couple of guys in this booth that could use a couple of those sprints right now.
I tell you what, after a couple more ice creams with some Reese's, I think that might be in order.
I had a hot dog today too, so I could probably use a couple of sprints.
You didn't have that type of a hot dog. I didn't realize it was Bark in the Park Day. I guess when you're that small, you just put it in your purse and
your back pocket. Nobody will notice.
Haha, busted. You're on TV. Here in the fourth, Tommy La Stella will lead things off against Mike Bolsinger. Bolsinger looking for a quick and easy inning. First pitch fastball is up high for ball one. La Stella flew out to left field his first time up. Off-speed pitch misses. 2 balls and no strikes.
You see that pitch count creeping up there at 63 through 3 innings, certainly at a higher pace than he'd like to be. But this is the kind of team that allows you to keep your pitch count down if you take advantage of it. And that happens by staying in the strike zone a lot earlier in the count.
La Stella on the 2-0 pitch was swinging to make it a tie game.
Yeah, that's the way the Braves do it, man. They're not going to get cheated.
Foul back, 2-2.
Well, La Stella really has fit in very well here. You never know what you're going to get. You can watch a guy in the minor leagues all day long. He can put up numbers. But when you put him here starting second base in a pennant race, you don't know how guys are going to react. And Freddie Gonzalez has been very thrilled with what he's gotten from Tommy La Stella so far.
The 2-2 from Bolsinger.
3-2.
Missing down low and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes, says Las Diaz. The payoff pitch. Back up the middle, right past Bolsinger. A leadoff single for La Stella. Major League Baseball's coverage of the All-Star Game festivities begins tomorrow on ESPN with the 2014 Taco Bell All-Star Selection Show at 7 p.m. Eastern. It continues on Monday, July 14th with a 2014 Gillette Home Run Derby at 8 p.m. Eastern.
We'll get to see this replay. Bolsinger thought he probably should have caught this. I mean, you see how he's standing straight up. He almost looked really surprised. He's lucky this ball didn't hit him. I mean, it's between the glove and the arm, and then he gets disappointed that he didn't catch it. But at the end of the day, it's all about self-defense.
Christian Bethancourt doubled his last time up. Now hits it in the hole. La Stella being held at second base because Parra has a cannon in right field. And that's one of those where Parra's like, oh, just try me.
He probably should have slowed down a little bit and maybe tried to bait the young La Stella coming around second because he's looking at his third base coach and realizes, no. You talk about being underrated. That's an underrated arm in right field. In Parra, he's got one of the best.
Doug DeCenzo at third base. He had the stop sign up right away.
More often than not, as a rookie, you learn that lesson the hard way by trying to take advantage of a guy. You think it's a slow ground ball, I'm going to be able to get there, but no, not against Parra.
So Lorraine came up last time with a runner at second, 1 out, did not bunt. Well, guess what? He's up here, first and second, nobody out. He's bunting.
100%. Even if he gets 2 strikes on him, he'll be trying to bunt.
1-0. Goldschmidt charging hard. As a pitcher, how tempted are you when you see the first baseman or third baseman charging like that to just swing away, slash?
Oh, absolutely. Jeff Bagwell used to do that, who I played with in Houston one year, would get right on top of guys. If you have good back control, if you have the confidence to do it, it's a good idea, because worst case scenario, even if you just show it once, it should get the first baseman to back off a little bit. I mean, this is Paul Goldschmidt being incredibly aggressive trying to get this out at third base.
The bunt is to third base. Very nicely done by Haran. Sacrifice 5-4. La Stella goes to third. Bethancourt to second.
That is exactly what you want to do as a pitcher, and that's another way you can take out the first baseman and what he's trying to do. When you have runners at first and second, you're trying to move a runner over to third. All you need to do is get the third baseman to field that ball. If he fields that ball, your runner is going to be safe at third every single time. Because your third baseman cannot come in and be as aggressive as the first baseman is, otherwise they'll steal third base. So that is exactly what you're taught. Great job by Aaron Harang. Get the third baseman to field the ball, and the runners will both advance.
1 out, 2 men in scoring position now for B.J. Upton. At this point, you're just looking for a fly ball to the outfield, get that run in. Takes the first pitch fastball, first strike. Upton's 1 for 2, a triple, a run scored, and he flew out to right field his last time up. The Braves 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position here today.
Look how deep Martin Prado is right here. You think about bunting again, and that would get you an RBI as well.
Nice play by Gregorius. Goes to first. Goldschmidt comes off the bat. LaStella scores. And Upton is safe at first.
What a play here by Gregorius. This ball was smoked, one hop, great hands, fields it clean. I almost thought he was thinking about throwing the ball home, but makes a strong throw, but just up the line a little bit. Pulling Paul Goldschmidt off the back. You see him look home right there. He thought about making that throw at home, and it could have been just that. Oh, he looked on, and I tell you what.
Yeah, I would challenge that.
I thought maybe that was the case. And that's what they're doing, maybe buying a little bit of time right here. They should be out there. Kirk Gibson should be out there right now, trying to get this play reviewed.
You can see Trammell's trying to call back to figure out what to do, and I wonder if he were to come out right now if it's too late.
There is no technical rule that says when you can and can't do it. All that happens, you can't do it once the pitcher's on the rubber to throw a pitch. Once he goes to throw a pitch, and you can't do it. Diamondbacks have missed an opportunity here. Be interesting to see if this costs it.
The run would have scored anyway. It's going to be an RBI, E6, and a throw. So it's first and second, 1 out, as opposed to second base, 2 outs. And now it's 0-1 to Andrelton Simmons.
And from the Department of Really Selfish, I'd say it's Gregorius an error, because he gets an error on that ball because it pulls him off. But if they replay it and he's safe, it's no longer an error.
Right. No balls, 1 strike here to Simmons. Struck out his last time up. Line drive, left field. That'll get down. Peralta trying to cut it off. He kicks it a bit. Here comes Upton to score. A 2-run double for Simmons, and the Braves have taken the lead.
Well, how about some redemption here for Andrelton Simmons? 2 errors in the first inning put the Braves in a hole. And he drills this ball to left field. You see Peralta kicking it around and having an issue with it. But a nice kind of small redemption moment here for Andrelton Simmons after a rough first inning defensively. Coming through with a clutch hit, 2 RBIs.
Bethancourt and Upton score. It's now 5-3 Atlanta. And Freddie Freeman at the plate. So the non-challenge does hurt this D-backs team because it would have been just 1 run scoring, not 2.
It's unbelievable. You think with the replay system in place, we got to see it. It's amazing that whatever happened in the Arizona Diamondbacks clubhouse, who runs that it took that long, or that they just didn't see it the way we saw it.
Freeman pulls one past the diving Goldschmidt. Simmons will score. Freeman. He's going to try for 3. Hale's throw. Not in time. What a slide by Freeman.
Great job here by Freddie Freeman reading this ball and seeing it get bobbled just a little bit in right field. And that's actually his 3rd triple of the year. Now Balsinger's going to get another breather. This inning has just really fallen apart now. Nothing has changed. There would have been 2 outs, but it's 1 less run. that the Braves certainly would have scored this inning. That's a big man running right there, but you see him read this ball and see an opportunity to take the extra base. You're always thinking a base ahead as a base runner. He knows it's a double off the bat, but instead of pulling up as he gets into second base, he's keeping an eye on what is going on in right field, senses an opportunity, and is able to take third base.
Randall Delgado throwing in the bullpen now for Arizona. 6-3 Atlanta. 7 of the last 10 hitters for the Braves have a hit. And look at what the numbers dictate for Mike Bolsinger. First 3 innings, very good. Beyond that, not so much. Infield is in here for Justin Upton. Outside of the first pitch, 1 ball and no strikes. Upton had the infield single his last time up. Pulls it foul towards a dugout of the D-backs. 1-1.
Now this inning would still be going, even if they did challenge that replay. Even if the call was overturned and he was called out. But you know, it's the difference between 5-3 and 2 outs. And for Bolsinger, infield being in right now, the infield would not be in. And be able to breathe a little bit.
Upton skies one to center field, and Ciarte has room. Makes the catch, tagging up from third base as Freeman. Sacrifice fly for Upton, and it's 7-3. And this is the play that you're talking about, where a nice play by Gregorius at short, throws wide, but you can see Goldschmidt, his toe is on the bag right there. The ball is in his glove. Then he comes off. He was ruled safe off the bag by first base umpire Toby Basner.
Well, the Diamondbacks definitely missed that opportunity, and now it's 2 runs because that fly ball would have ended the inning. Instead, it turns into a sac fly, and anything else that happens afterwards would not have happened if they reviewed this.
Jason Hayward at the plate, and I would even argue that you never know. I mean, momentum, right? A nice play by Gregorius gets that out at first base. Now it's the run scores, but you feel good. You got an out. Now there are 2 outs. Maybe you settle down. Instead, you pitch differently.
Absolutely. Your back is against the wall. You know you only have 1 out. You have a bigger hill to climb to try to get through the inning. But if you know you're 1 pitch away from ending the inning, it absolutely can change the way you approach each at bat.
1-1 here to Hayward. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hayward has reached base both times up. The first time on a fielder's choice 6-4. Last time an RBI single up the middle. The 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? He did not, says Jeff Nelson down at third base.
And you notice the one thing they didn't do was show the replay in the stadium, because they're allowed to do that now. They give you more permission. Major League Baseball has done a good job of allowing teams to show close plays, but they certainly weren't going to do the Diamondbacks any favors and put that one on the board.
Pulled foul, stays 2-2. But again, you brought up a good point. We saw it here. We showed the replay quickly. Why didn't they see it?
It's an opportune time to question the process as far as how do they do it. Each team does it differently. Do you have a guy? Do you have a pitcher who has the day of? Who's watching the video? Is it your video guy? And who's sending the message? They need to evaluate that and realize that they made a mistake here. That can't happen.
Were they watching the World Cup game instead?
Hope not. Possible.
The payoff pitch. Fouled back. We'll do it again.
And
by the way, it's scoreless.
3-2 there.
Netherlands and Costa Rica in the 80th minute.
Thank you. Let me write that down. You could have given me 50 chances to guess who was playing. I would not have gotten it right.
Line outside, a 2-out walk issued to Hayward. And that's going to be it for Mike Bolsinger. Kirk Gibson comes out, makes the call to the bullpen. 7-3. The Braves have taken a lead with a 5-run 4th inning. As number 3 ranked Frankie Edgar takes on BJ Penn in the epic Ultimate Fighter finale live from Las Vegas. Coverage begins with the pre-fight show at 6:30 p.m. Eastern as part of Red, White, and Fight Week on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The new pitcher into the game here for the D-backs is Randall Delgado. Delgado on the season 1-1, a 5.77 ERA, has appeared in 25 games. 39 innings, 47 strikeouts to 21 walks, and he faces Chris Johnson. Look back over at first to Jason Hayward, who's back safely. Slider is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Chris Johnson at the plate 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts against Mike Bolsinger. 2 of the 5 in the game for Bolsinger through 3 2/3. Fastball chase to miss. We talked about the trade last year that brought Justin Upton and Chris Johnson over here to Atlanta from Arizona. Well, guess what? Martin Prado and the guy on the mound, Randall Delgado, went from Atlanta over to Arizona. And now it's the trade matching up. Johnson in the inner center field. Inciarte with room. And he will make the catch to end the inning. 9 men to the plate. 5 runs in the inning. And the Braves now lead 7-3. In 1996, the games, this was the stadium for the Olympics. Michael Johnson with that famous double-double wearing the gold shoes. And here in the 5th inning, the Braves, trying to extend this winning streak to 9 games, have come all the way back from a 3-0 deficit and lead 7-3. Aaron Harang has settled down since that 1st inning, and he'll face the top of the order. Inciarte gets into one to right field. Hayward turns and looks, gone. So much for settling down.
Nice little jinx by you right there, but I mean, what you want Aaron Harang doing after your team scores runs is to come out and throw strikes. But again, talked about jumping on a guy like him early. You can't get deep in the count. And he ends up splitting the plate. And Inciarte doesn't miss it.
First career home run for Ender Inciarte. And it makes it a 7-4 ball game.
And there it is, a fastball that is just up. Two-seam running away a little bit, but not down enough to get you that ground ball that he was looking for.
David Peralta, who had his first major league home run against Aaron Harang, is now batting after Inciarte with his first big league home run against Harang.
After just a few steps, Jason Hayward knew he got it. This is a big ballpark. Not a lot of home runs hit here.
0-2 is fouled back. Stays 0-2 to Peralta.
I shouldn't say not a lot, but you don't get. There's no cheap home runs here.
Yeah.
As a pitcher, I played here for the Braves for a little while. You can never say, the ballpark too small, it's a wall scraper. No, every home run that is hit here is legitimate.
Little flare to left field. Justin Upton, that stayed up for him. One away. Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night, they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 85th All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 15th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Freddie Freeman, he'll most likely be there. This guy at the plate, Paul Goldschmidt, he'll be there. Goldschmidt takes the first pitch low and outside for ball one. He's 1 for 2. An RBI double and a ground out. Breaking ball in there, first strike, 1-1. So you said with the two best first basemen in the National League, they've gotten the job done in RBI situations.
And you would think with the Atlanta Braves being able to 4th in the National League last year in runs scored that Freddie Freeman would actually have more RBIs. You think about how the Arizona Diamondbacks have struggled. Not the case though.
Ground ball to third. Chris Johnson gobbles it up. 2 away. Time for a game break, although Freddie Freeman thought that was the 3rd out of the inning. That might be a fine in Kangaroo Court.
That's going to cost you.
All right, Kevin Burkhardt thought he was getting out of it, but Freddie Freeman was wrong. Kevin, what's going on? Jeff Samardzija dealt last night to the Oakland A's. Part of that big deal that could change the landscape of the American League. The first pitch to Miguel Montero is in their first strike.
Well, it's got to be fun for Carlos Villanueva come in. Oh, hey, by the way, you're starting today. I know you thought you were going to be in the bullpen and maybe giving us a couple innings, but we need you to start.
Ground ball to second. Estella, the backhand to first, and that'll do it. A solo shot by Ender Inciarte. We head to the bottom half of the 5th. It's 7-4 Atlanta. Umpiring crew. Jeff Nelson, the crew chief. The lights came on during that half inning, and CJ, that's not allowed.
Yeah, it's really surprising, and the grounds crew does an excellent job here in Atlanta at Turner Field, but you cannot turn the lights on in the middle of the inning. It has to be fair for both teams. And so essentially now the Atlanta Braves get to hit an extra half an inning with the lights that the Arizona Diamondbacks do not. And so there was a stern lecture there, but it seems like the game is going to go on, that the Diamondbacks are not going to say anything about it or make them turn the lights off or anything like that, because that probably would cause worse of a problem. Who knows how long they would take to turn back on. So a mistake by the grounds crew. Probably not thrilled that we're talking about it, but nevertheless, the game moves on.
Hey, we just document the ball.
That's right. That's right. Just the facts.
Tommy La Stella will lead things off here in the 5th inning against Randall Delgado. La Stella led off the 4th inning with a single as the Braves sent 9 men to the plate in the inning and scored 5 runs as they lead 7-4. Fastball in the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. One missing outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Stella 1 for 2, the single, a run scored, and a fly out to left. Two-one, off-speed pitch. It's 2-2.
And that was a good-looking changeup there on a 2-1 count. See, La Stella was way out front, trying to pull this ball. Good execution by Delgado.
2-2 is up high. Now 3-2. That was at 95. Does he go back to the changeup here?
I think 3-2. What you don't want to do is walk a guy. This pitch has to be the one that you have the most confidence in throwing a strike. Looks like they're going to go fastball away. Good pitch. Nice job by La Stella spoiling that pitch as well. He does not look comfortable at all in the ball away. And that may be some exposure that he sees. When he first got to the big leagues, he hit the ball well, and then he went through a slump. Freddie Gonzalez was talking about that, an 0 for 23 stretch where he really struggled. Gave him a day off. Said, listen, you're just going to sit and watch a baseball game, which he had not done since he's gotten here. And since then, he's bounced back pretty well.
Another 3-2, high and outside. Ball 4, leadoff walk to La Stella. Time for a game break. Let's check back in with Kevin Burkhardt. All right, thank you. Here in Atlanta, it's a 7-4 ball game as the Braves lead the D-backs. Justin Kutcher alongside C.J. Nickowski, Christian Bethancourt. 2 for 2 as the AL East now looks like this with Baltimore and Toronto tied. The Yankees 3 games back. Fastball in the outside corner to Bethancourt for a strike.
I will tell you what will ultimately decide the American League East is which general manager makes the best move. And there's not a lot of options out there, and you don't think that David Price is likely to stay within the division when he does get traded. But it's going to come down to which GM can find the pitching help, because both the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays and the Yankees, for that matter, could really use an extra arm.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Bethancourt. We talked about the Jeff Samardzija and Hamill trade to Oakland from Chicago. These Arizona Diamondbacks also made a trade here today as Bethancourt fouls a pitch back. The D-backs and the Angels combined for a trade as Arizona sent lefty reliever Joe Thatcher and AAA outfielder Tony Campana to the Angels. And Arizona got a couple of minor leaguers back in return. Zach Bornstein is the big player they got back in that return. In the dirt, gets away from Montero. Down to second base goes La Stella. A wild pitch charged to Randall Delgado.
Well, a couple of things on that Arizona trade today. One, the Angels really needed a left-handed reliever. They've already made one move by letting Ernesto Ferreri go and picking up Jason Grilli, but they needed a lefty, and so Thatcher will fill that role. But also, I think it kind of signifies where the Diamondbacks are headed. And we already knew this, but this is the first move of maybe what could be a couple for them, where they start moving some parts and trying to get some younger players in return. Like we talked about earlier, probably they still expect to compete in the near future.
Bethancourt to short. Gregorius, tough play, makes it for the first out. Holding at second is La Stella. The D-backs did recall Yuri De La Rosa, the lefty, from AAA to take the spot of Thatcher.
Well, they're in a phase now where they will be evaluating everybody, evaluating the organization top to bottom. And Tony La Russa is now a guy that's behind that as they bring him on as kind of a consultant to look at the organization, see where they are, work with Kevin Towers, and start making some decisions and trying to get this thing turned around.
Harang at the plate with a runner on second, 1 out. The same situation he was in back in the second. Didn't bunt then, was not looking to bunt right there, and takes the pitch for a strike. He came up with a good sacrifice bunt in the 4th inning.
Well, now that they have the lead, this makes a little bit more sense that Aaron Harang will take a shot at trying to drive this run in. See if he can get to the ball to the get the ball to the outfield somehow, some way. But that swing we saw in the first at bat tells you that might not be possible. We'll see.
Be honest with me, as a pitcher getting the chance to hit, are you happy or are you nervous?
Nah, love it every single time. You get to pretend you're a big leaguer. You know, you're a pitcher. It's what your job is. But now you get to actually pretend that you're like a position player. You step in the box and you get to hit. It's like being a kid. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, but was there a pitcher that you faced? You're like, oh, I really don't want to go up against him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I struck out against Kurt Schilling twice. It seemed like he was throwing 100 miles an hour. Doug Drabeck struck out against him twice. Maddox. It's not fun.
Harang strikes out looking. Tonight, the UFC returns to Fox Sports 1 with UFC 175 prelims featuring a matchup between second-ranked Uriah Faber and 11th-ranked Alex Caceres, plus other epic bouts. It all starts with the pre-fight show coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern as part of Red, White, and Fight Week on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 2 outs here in the 5th. B.J. Upton at the plate. Tripled back in the 1st. Reached the error by Gregorius in the 4th. That was the play that the D-backs did not review or did not challenge. And it led to an extra run. No balls and 1 strike here to Upton. Did he go? He did not, says Toby Basner. 1 ball, 1 strike to B.J. Upton. LaStella led off with a walk. Moved to second on a wild pitch. Has been left there after a ground out and a strikeout. Upton chases 1 in the dirt. 1-2.
And that's the kind of swing that makes you just a little weary about B.J. Upton hitting in the leadoff spot. He's going to have that tendency to chase some balls out of the strike zone, but he really has done a good job, and it's hard to argue with what the decision that Freddie Gonzalez has made. The team has been very good since he's been in that leadoff spot.
The 1-2 from Delgado. Got him swinging with a heater. No runs on no hits. 1 man left on. We played 5 here in Atlanta. It's 7-4 Braves. here at Turner Field. It's 7-4 as we go to the 6th inning. The Braves lead the D-backs red, white, and blue. Fittingly the colors of the Braves and also the colors of the United States. Martin Prado will lead things off here on this holiday weekend. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1 to Prado. Prado is 0 for 2. Reaching the fielder's choice his first time up, and a 6-4-3 double play his last time up. Missing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Harang.
Well, Harang has really settled down since that first inning. He threw 30 pitches in that first inning. Since then, 14, 9, 10, and 11. He's been locked in.
Little flare to left field. Justin Upton has it fall in front of him. A leadoff single for Prado. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and Kevin. Thank you for finally showing us some defense.
Pitchers love it.
A leadoff single for Prado. Aaron Hill at the plate. First pitch is low and outside for ball 1.
And if the Diamondbacks want to get back into this game, they're going to have to do it soon. This bullpen has been unbelievably strong. Not just Craig Kimbrell at the back, but they have very good arms in the Atlanta Braves bullpen. Very difficult to score upon. Jordan Walden, David Carpenter, very solid from the 7th inning on.
The fan make the catch. He did. Use the body. Nicely done.
Cool. It's a cucumber right there. Of course I caught it.
It's not even that excited. I'd be jumping up and down.
Maybe it hurt a little bit.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Hill. Reaching the fielder's choice his first time up. And struck out his last time up. Takes the pitch on the outside corner. 1-2. See, here's what I'm surprised about. You went back for some ice cream here on this nice day. But wait, no. You have the option of getting Holman and Finch, arguably the best hamburger in Atlanta. Here, where at the ballpark. You could have had that.
I knew nothing about that. What's it called?
Holman and Finch. Ground ball to shortstop. Simmons to second for 1. Over to first. Nice double play. Here is the Geico in-game box score for the D-backs. Inciarte with his first career home run in the 5th inning. You see everybody except for Hill, Gregorius, and now the pitcher has a hit for Arizona. 7 hits on the day for the D-backs, but they trail 7-4. See, you went for the ice cream. I might go for the burger.
I pretty much took that as an invitation that you're getting ready to buy me a hamburger. That's not what I heard. I mean, I don't know if I interpreted that right, but that's what it sounded like to me.
A ground ball foul off the bat of Gerardo Parra.
Medium well.
There you go.
Nice.
Now, I have actually never had one, but I've heard they are unbelievable. No balls and 2 strikes here to Parra.
Well, I tell you, I really like making people mad. I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles now doing the MLB whip around. Nothing more overrated than an In-N-Out burger.
I agree with you.
What a reaction we just got here in the booth.
In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Luis Avilan is warming up in the pen for the Braves. I completely agree with you.
When you play in the big leagues, when you go to Anaheim, you go to play the Dodgers, wherever it is, when you go in, all the California guys, the guys that are from California, you got to try these In-N-Out burgers. They're great to go pick up a dozen up and bring them into the clubhouse. It's like, eh.
The first time I had one, I'm like, well, this can't be what everyone's talked about.
Not even close to a 5 Guys for me.
By the way, they just put our names up, so now everyone's going to hate on us.
Well, like I said, with those California guys, if you tell them, I mean, it's like you've insulted one of their children. I mean, they get really upset about it.
3-2, line drive center field. B.J. Upton plays this one on a bounce. And a 2-out single for Gerardo Parra.
That's another tough play there for B.J. Upton, that in-between play. And you talk about, well, you got to lead. There's 2 outs. Why not go for a dive here? That ball was smoked and actually had some curve to it, which makes it a tough read. I'm okay with this right here and him not going for it. Even though there's 2 outs and nobody on, if he misses that ball and dives, it's going to easily be a triple. And all that does is just get the Diamondbacks a little bit more excited. So for Aaron Harang, he'd rather have that single instead of taking that chance. I don't think B.J. Upton could have dove and caught that ball.
I agree with you. Gregorius at the plate. First pitch swinging, fouls one out of play, third base side. Was intentionally walked his first time up. Gregorius flew out to center field his last time up. On deck is Cody Ross. In that 9-hole where the pitcher Delgado is scheduled to hit. Matt Stites out there in the bullpen for Arizona. Fastball on the outside corner. Delayed call there by Laz Diaz.
And if you're worried about the people at In-N-Out Burger being upset with us, I would. Every time I pass that place, huge lines all the time. Their business is not going anywhere.
I can see you're concerned about this.
Well, you know,
see, people in New York might say Shake Shack is better.
Brought a couple guys down though at Citi Field, didn't it?
A little broken back. Foul ball. 1-2. Make sure you ask Eric Karros about his experience with Shake Shack at Citi Field.
Good or bad? Terrible.
He enjoyed it while he was eating it.
The aftermath, not so much.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Gregorius. With 2 outs in the 6th inning. Best ballpark food you've ever had. Go.
Ooh, you know what? I haven't had a real opportunity to sample
I know
what's at the ballpark. I've only been doing this job for about a year and a half, and I make sure I have at least 1 hot dog in every ballpark I'm in, which probably isn't so great. I did take my kids to a Dodger game the other day. We had our first ever Dodger dog, which didn't disappoint.
1-2, pop up. Simmons to the outfield grass, makes the catch, and that'll do it. No runs and a couple hits, 1 man left on. We're talking about food. There's more of it. 7-4 Braves. the Arizona Diamondbacks. It is the right-hander Matt Stites. Stites on the season, no record, a 2.45 ERA. 7 strikeouts, 5 walks. Opponents are hitting .333 against, and this will be his 9th game. The 3rd pitcher of the game for Arizona. And he will face really the heart of the order in Simmons, Freeman, and Upton. With the Braves leading 7-4.
We talked about it earlier for a guy like Balsinger having an opportunity as this team struggles a little bit. They're not going to contend this year. For Stites, here's an opportunity for a guy with a big arm to prove that he's a big leaguer. This is his first taste of the big leagues that he's had, and throwing the ball well. Good fastball. We're running up there mid to upper 90s, and he's gotten the comp from some scouts. Craig Kimbrell, because he's not very tall. He's only 5'11". Now Kimbrell's probably got 20 pounds on him. But that's been the comp for him, which is always a nice one to have. Of course, you have to eventually go out there and execute and get it done. But they see that type of ceiling for this guy.
Simmons having a nice day at the plate. A single, a double, 3 RBIs. First pitch fastball at 95 in their first strike. I'm always amazed by that. All the comps that you hear, it's always against the best players.
Sure. Nobody's like, wow, this guy might be like C.J. Nikowski. No, but please don't ever say that to an aspiring baseball player. But that's, I mean, that's the way scouts work, because they look for the ceiling, and that's why we say it that way, and that's the language that you use. He could be this kind of guy if he gets there. It helps a ton in drafts. It's really important at the amateur level, especially when you're talking about first, second round, when you're going to invest some money in a guy. Who do you see him being? And they're going to ask the scouts that have saw him. He could turn into a John Smoltz type. Now, it's a high ceiling. Everything has to go right. And you're talking about Hall of Fame level player. But that's how scouts like to do it. That's what scouting directors want to hear and see.
Well, of course you want to hear.
Well, you've got to remember, because the local scout's putting his neck out there and saying, who's this guy going to be? Who can he be? Who is he like?
The 2-1 from Stites. Fouled back out of play. Andrelton Simmons in the first inning. With Upton, leadoff triple. Simmons back up the middle, the RBI single. And then again in the 4th. Came through, ripping that double to left center field. Scored a couple of runs. And of course, we won't show the strikeout. Because who wants to see that, right? Well, maybe a pitcher does. Simmons goes the other way. Goldschmidt tried for the backhand, did not make the play.
This is a really tough play, even for a great defender like Paul Goldschmidt. This is that in-betweener, and you really get stuck and you don't know what you want to do. Do I try to play it on the high hop or get it on the short? And he got caught right in between, not enough time to make a decision. That ball played him, and we use that phrase with defenders. You play the ball, don't let the hop play you. Paul Goldschmidt got caught in between and let that ball play him.
It is an error charged to Goldschmidt. So leadoff man on, and Simmons brings up Freddie Freeman, who's got a double and a triple. And that first pitch fastball at 97 in on the knees. 0-1. Freeman has also struck out a couple runs, an RBI. Tell you what, I mean, he's halfway there to the cycle. He is a home run hitter. Got some velocity on the hill. He's got a chance.
And for Stites, if he stays in, like he did right there with that fastball, he'll be able to contain Freddie Freeman. But if he makes the mistake of thinking I should work this guy away at any point, that's where you're starting to run into some danger. Because as I talked about earlier, he's very capable of taking that ball over that 380 sign left field gap, especially against a good fastball.
No balls, 2 strikes here to Freeman. Fouls it back. Stites, the hard thrower, 24 years old, out of Festus, Missouri.
Not quite Festivus.
Nope.
Close.
25th year anniversary of Seinfeld starting. And of course, we're here with Roger McDowell, the second spitter. Ground ball up the middle. Gregorius will tag the runner for the force out. Simmons goes tumbling to the ground. 1 away.
And Andrelton Simmons is now sat down. I wonder if he's hurt.
Simmons now reaching down for the leg. It looked like it was nothing at first.
Sure. I mean, this is going to be an easy tag. He tried to stop and turn, and he overdid it. And you never, I don't want to say you should concede an out, but that's one of those situations where you're going to be out. You're going to have to go out of the baseline not to be out. That's certainly not what Freddie Gonzalez wants to see. It's his star shortstop struggling to get up, and he did kind of look like he missed the tag, did he?
Walking gingerly off, kind of favoring that ankle, the left ankle.
Jim Lovell, assistant trainer here at Atlanta, been here a long time.
One away now for Justin Upton. Upton at the sacrifice fly his last time up. RBI number 48 on the season. So going back to Seinfeld really quickly, several years ago I was interning for MSG Network in New York at the time, and they had the Mets, and Keith Hernandez was up in the booth. And so the producer asked me to take a couple of baseballs up there and have Hernandez sign them for somebody with Seinfeld references. So he signed the ball. It was the second spitter, Keith Hernandez. And I was like,
he play along?
That was awesome.
That's sweet. The whole generation of people have no idea what he did as a baseball player, but only know him as a Seinfeld character.
1-1, swing and a miss at the slider. 1-2.
Well, you can see why the Diamondbacks are excited about Matt Stites. The fastball is good, but it's loud too. I mean, velocity is one thing. We read the gun, we see 95, 97. That's exciting. But the way that it's coming in, it sounds like it's coming in pretty heavy. And the off-speed pitch to go with it looks pretty sharp as well.
One-two, hit well to right field. Parra going back, looks up, gone. A two-run shot for Justin Upton. And Atlanta now leads 9-4.
Well, right on cue, just as I've said, the fastball, he leaves it up in the zone here, and Justin Upton is all over it. And again, not trying to do too much. It is so impressive when you see a power hitter go the other way like that. If he takes that big swing where he's trying to pull that ball, he's not going to be able to do that right there. Not on that kind of fastball. Doesn't overswing. Let that power take over for you. Velocity on that fastball helps carry that ball out to right field.
Jason Hayward fouls the first pitch back, going one. For Upton, his 17th home run. And now he has 50 RBIs on the season.
That's the first home run that Stites has allowed in his career, and that's something he'll remember, but more importantly, something that you hope that he learns from. Knowing that, yes, he has a good fastball, but that does not mean you can just elevate in the zone and stay there. Good hitters will get to it.
0-2 the count here to Hayward. Chopper to second. Hill retires Hayward for the second out this inning. A look at the Geico in-game box score for the Atlanta Braves. And, well, it's kind of busy. Everybody but Chris Johnson, who's coming to the plate right now, and the pitcher Aaron Harang have a hit. A lot of extra base hits on the day for the Braves.
That certainly jumps out off the page. A couple of triples, those doubles in there. We just saw the home run. Braves doing a nice job today offensively.
Big swing and a miss by Johnson, who's 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts and a fly out to center field. Freddie Freeman Been on base 3 times, has a double, a triple, 3 runs scored, and an RBI. And Johnson just doesn't look comfortable at the plate.
He doesn't, and here's another guy in this lineup that swings hard. All the strikeouts, the couple that he had earlier, first and the third inning. Facing a tough righty here, pulling off just a little bit so far is what we've seen.
High and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He chases the slider, strikes out for the 3rd time today. But a 2-run shot by Justin Upton, and now it's 9-4 Atlanta after 6. Here in Atlanta, a pinch hitter for the Diamondbacks. It will be Cody Ross hitting the number 9 hole. ANDRELTON Simmons, who appeared to have twisted his ankle trying to avoid that tag at second base, is back out at shortstop for the Braves. And Aaron Harang on the hill working into the 7th. And if you think back to that first inning, this is what a veteran pitcher does. Got to that first inning, and here he is working into the 7th for the Braves.
Absolutely. Not panicking in that situation, giving up some runs, throwing a lot of pitches, but not letting the game get away from him. And kind of the opposite, I think, of what we saw from Ballswinger. A young pitcher still kind of trying to find his way. Struggled and really could never quite harness his stuff. The off-speed stuff was really struggling in the beginning.
I was about to say, did you see how efficient he's been in the 7th inning?
In the 7th inning?
I was joking. They showed the whole pitch count. There was 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Missing outside. 2-1 here to Ross. 4 runs on 8 hits, 2 errors for Arizona. 9 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors for Atlanta. The Braves trying to make it 9 in a row. Outside, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Bounce foul, 3-2. And Ross not happy with himself. Felt like he missed a pitch right there.
See some action in the Braves bullpen. You talk about that pitch count being at 96, and Aaron Harang has done a nice job. It'd be tough to get through this inning. You have to think maybe 105, 110 is on the high end for him. But you also have to look at how it happened in that first inning. was pretty taxing for him. So you don't necessarily want to go max pitch count after having a first inning like that, even though he's been so good since.
And if Ross gets on, maybe this is his last batter, because you've got Inciarte and Peralta, 2 lefties coming up, and Avilon out there in the bullpen warming up. 3-2, ground ball to shortstop. Simmons, 1 away. Let's see, any movement from the dugout? Nope. Justin Kutcher alongside C.J. Nikowski here. Top of the 7th inning in Atlanta. And we were talking about Holman and Finch burgers, and what do you know?
Oh, my.
We're going to get a chance to try some.
I'm going to pretend I didn't have that ice cream earlier. Oh, my.
You worked out, I heard.
That's not true. No, I played tennis yesterday. Does that count in golf?
Now, I've been told that these are very messy, but we will try to do this. This is going to be great.
100% guaranteed that my white shirt will not be white when this is all over.
It is also the last time that we will probably be on camera, because we are wearing white shirts. Inciarte, ground ball to second. Tough op. La Stella handles it, and there are 2 outs here.
Nice play by La Stella. And again, talking to Freddie Gonzalez about who he thinks La Stella can be. He said he's going to make every play that comes at him. The hands are good. It's just the range that maybe is not going to be exceptional, but he does a nice job here on this ball. Routine, but takes that little bit of a hop at the end. Does a nice job of sticking with it. And if you're wondering about Aaron Harang and pitch counts, his high for this season was 121. That came back on April 18th against the New York Mets. And he did throw 115 3 starts ago. So that's probably the max number. But really 110 is probably ideal after that long first inning he had today.
You've done some play-by-play, right?
I have not. You can eat that. I've done I have 2 innings of play-by-play under my belt.
It's good by me.
Yeah. Get in there, dude.
2 balls and no strikes
like
to Peralta.
Trying to eat with this microphone in my face.
Ground ball up the middle. Simmons had him played perfectly. A 1-2-3 inning by Harang.
Let's eat.
He's gone through 7. It's stretch time, and it's also time to eat. Game. Yuri De La Rosa recalled after the trade earlier today of Joe Thatcher. He arrived before the game, and now he's pitching here for the D-backs, and he will face La Stella, Bethancourt, and right now it's scheduled for Harang, and he does have a batting helmet on in the dugout, so maybe he'll get a chance to hit and go back out there. We'll see.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez would love to squeeze another inning out of Aaron Harang if he can. Now, I don't think he'll push it. The bullpen is pretty well rested. They had off on Thursday. Got a good outing from Urban Santana last night, so the bullpen is completely fresh. But listen, anytime you can get innings out of your starter, you're going to take them, because you're going to have those stretches where your bullpen's going to be overused. So take advantage of the rest when you can get it.
Urban Santana pitched a good game last night for the Braves. It really is amazing when you think about this team. You look at the starting rotation, and yet here they are, year in, year out, among the tops in ERA. And I just don't think enough credit is given to Roger McDowell, the pitching coach.
I would agree. Roger McDowell has done an outstanding job, and Freddie Gonzalez really couldn't wait to brag about him a little bit. You know that means they have a good relationship, and more importantly, that he's very proud of what he's done for this organization. He talked about having 3 different kinds of pitching coaches: guys that can be mechanical, guys that are really good at setting up scouting reports, and guys that are good in-game strategy, talking with pitchers. He said Roger McDowell is solid across the board. But I think the thing that really stuck out to me the most was that he said he's going to be honest with his guys. Yep. He's going to look them in the eye and tell them when they're doing things wrong, and not, you know, pat them on the back and say it's okay that you had a bad outing today. He's going to get in the grill, let them know, no, this is where you were bad, this is where you have to be better, and he's honest. And at the end of the day, that's what most Major League Baseball players want and need.
La Stella reached base last time up via the walk. Takes the 3-0 pitch in there for a strike, 3-1. And you know, you think about what he has done in McDowell. Think about Leo Mazzoni. He had Smoltz, he had Maddox, he had Glavine. He had all these, you know, studs, and he got a lot of credit for it. But if you think about what McDowell has had, he hasn't had the studs. Think about the guys that went on the DL that you talked about. And yet here they are again, whether it's a veteran or a youngster, they produce. They produce every single year. And what I've been told about him is that his players, his pitchers absolutely love him. Pitch misses outside, gets away from Montero. Leadoff walk once again for La Stella. They will run through a wall for him. They trust him. They appreciate him. And also what kind of goes unnoticed is that he teaches these young guys. He kind of takes them under his wing and shows them how they're supposed to act as a big league ball player, how they're supposed to dress on the road, and how they're supposed to dress after games. Lessons that I think a lot of people won't necessarily see, but have a big impact on the players.
Absolutely. And you don't necessarily have to have big league playing experience to be a good coach. Or lots of good coaches that either didn't play in the big leagues very long or at all, or had very successful careers. But when you have a guy like Roger McDowell who had a nice career, when he does talk about those things, the way that you should be carrying yourself and how you should dress and all of that kind of stuff, it carries a little bit more validity from a guy who has been there and done that.
Bethancourt back up the middle with a hot shot, and Christian Bethancourt with his 3rd hit of the day. He's now 3 for 4, and runners on 1st and 2nd. Time now for a McDonald's winning ingredients game summary. Arizona jumped out to a 3-0 lead. They sent 9 men to the plate, but guess what? The Braves responded by sending 9 men to the plate in the 4th inning. 17th time this season that both teams have done that in one game. SIMMONS having a good game, as is Freddie Freeman, as is Christian Bethancourt, and of course Aaron Harang, who's walking to the plate right now. 7 innings, and he is up to bat here in the bottom half of the 7th in a bunting situation, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. We saw him do this earlier in the 4th, got the sacrifice down, and that is a foul ball, says Laz Diaz.
Well, again, now back in that situation where Aaron Harang is trying to bunt this ball to the 3rd base side. He's trying to get Martin Prado to field the ball, knowing that the sacrifice will work. You counter that now as a pitcher by trying to throw pitches that maybe you can get Harang to bunt the ball either back to the pitcher or to the 1st base side. So you make it difficult for him. That may mean that you're running actually the ball inside, hard in, running it in, or throwing a cutter as a left-hander. But what you don't want to do is just give him that nice fat pitch that's kind of middle away that makes it very easy for him to get the bunt down to 3rd.
Breaking ball misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Is there a pitch when you know the guy's going to go up there to bunt? It's going to be a sacrifice bunt. Is there a pitch that you think is more difficult for the batter to bunt than anything else?
The high fastball is one of the most difficult pitches to bunt, especially if it's a little bit in. You're taught when you square to start your bat at the top of the strike zone and never chase a ball up, because then it's a ball. But it's hard for guys. A lot of times they see it and think they can get it down. So if you can get a batter to bring his bat up, going for a high fastball, you really increase the chance of him popping it up.
There's that slash play that we talked about earlier. And if I'm Goldschmidt, if I'm Prado, I'm saying, okay, I'm not charging like that again.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Paul Goldschmidt does here now. I always wonder when that happens, if his heart starts beating just a little bit harder. Is he going to back off? The Diamondbacks are putting a lot of time into this bunt. Now, they're down by 5 here in the 7th inning. But they're putting a lot of time into defending this bunt and making sure they got it right. You see Goldschmidt now going out and talking to his pitcher. What you do there is you confirm with him verbally. As Martin Prado is giving the signs, you want to make sure De La Rosa gets it. He just got here, and so you're not sure if he has all the signs. And so what you do is you verbally confirm them with him so he understands what play is on.
Bunting with 2 strikes, pulls it back on the breaking ball, and it's 2-2.
And what they have been running is what we call the wheel play. And that's when you see Martin Prado charge, but Didi Gregorius has already taken off and trying to get to third. So that's how they're trying to cut this run off, where they can have their third baseman, their first baseman, and their pitcher all charging in. So even if there is a hard bunt to third, if they execute it right, they actually may have a play at first. Excuse me, at third.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom half of the 7th, 9-4 Braves on top of the Diamondbacks, looking for their 9th straight win. Not bunting, fouls it back.
And you do this a lot in spring training. The Diamondbacks have been mixing it up, putting different defensive plays in almost for each pitch. On that last one, Gregorius was basically playing third base, but a little bit further off the bag, and Aaron Hill was holding the runner at second. And now it looks like they're going back to a more traditional approach.
Yuri De La Rosa recalled from AAA today. Harang pulls it back and takes the pitch for strike 3. First out here in the 7th.
Well, Aaron Harang thought this was going to be a ball. You see him squared. He wants to bunt. Thought maybe it was going to be down or in. Pretty close there, but that ball to me looks like it catches the corner.
Yeah, I think it's a good pitch.
Tough one to bunt right there for sure as a right-handed hitter.
B.J. Upton at the plate. 1 for 4. Couple of runs scored. Change up in there for a strike. How about this for Atlanta? You ready for this? Here in the 7th inning, they have had a runner in scoring position in every inning.
Wow. We talked about it earlier, how well they've been hitting with runners in scoring position, especially with 2 outs. But listen, you got to get guys in scoring position. You got to get them in. That's how you win baseball games.
0-1. Upton able to get it through the hole. Listella will be held up at third base. The bases are loaded with 1 out here in the 7th for the Braves. Second hit of the day for B.J. Upton.
For De La Rosa, it's kind of a tough position. He gets called up. He gets here today a little bit later. Actually was not even here by the time batting practice started for the Diamondbacks, and gets thrown out there. Last year he had kind of some mixed results. His first 14 games last year, in 11 innings, he allowed just 1 earned run. Was throwing the ball really well. But then in September, in 5 games, 3 2/3 innings, 11 earned runs. And that's why you see that high ERA from a year ago.
Simmons pulls the breaking ball foul.
Now he's getting another opportunity here in 2013. The overall ERA last year was a 7.36, but it really didn't tell the story. Just a rough September for him. 24 years old, left-handers, only 5'9". Left-handers sometimes take a little bit longer to develop for whatever reason. Maybe because we're dumber. I don't know what's wrong with us, but for some reason we take a little bit longer. So for a guy like De La Rosa, still some time. But again, another opportunity for a young player on a non-contending team to try to prove himself.
No balls and 1 strike to Simmons. An RBI single in the first, strikeout in the third, a 2-run double in the fourth, reached on an error in the sixth. The pitch is inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Here are the numbers for De La Rosa this year.
Last year.
I'm sorry, last season.
And you see the strikeouts and the walks, and that's very impressive. And so that gets you excited about what can be there. You know, when you're talking about 19 games, the ERA, you have to throw it out, especially since he had just kind of that really rough September, and the rest of it was pretty good.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Simmons.
He was throwing the ball very well in AAA Reno in that Pacific Coast League, which is not an easy league to pitch in. 36 games, the ERA was at 2.52. Strikeouts to walks were not great. 36 strikeouts to 20 walks, and so that'll be also an issue for him and something the Diamondbacks will be keeping an eye on.
Bases are loaded. 1 out here in the 7th. 1-2, ground ball, third base. Prado, tough play to first. They get Simmons. The run scores in La Stella, and everybody else moves up a base. An RBI ground out for Simmons, his 4th RBI of the ball game.
This is a really nice play here by Martin Prado. Gets it on the short hop in a good exchange. Well, actually struggled a little bit on that exchange, but gets the ball out of his glove and makes a good throw. This guy is so good defensively. And again, going back to that versatility, that's why teams are going to be calling. The Toronto Blue Jays may want him to come play second base for them, and they move Brett Lauer to third base full time, or they may want to use him in both roles. And so that's where his value really goes up for guys like him, Omar Infante, guys with a good glove. Not that they can play different positions, but that they can do it well.
Freeman pulls it foul. No balls and 1 strike. Prado, the Blue Jays make sense in the AL East. The Yankees make sense in the AL East.
I'm telling you, that division, and you can say this about a lot of them, but that division in particular will really come down to which team makes the best move that works out for them, because they're just so close. There's no real separator, and every team is looking for that one guy to help them separate.
Freeman skies one to center field. Enciarte camps under it, and that'll do it. 1 more run in the inning. It's 10-4 Atlanta. Baseball presents the walk-off. Great walk-offs are waiting at foxsports.com/Budweiser. Grab some buds.
you're thinking about getting into a career in broadcasting, don't be the play-by-play guy, because then you can finish your burger while he has to talk. You can just turn your microphone off and keep eating.
Paul Goldschmidt takes the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Goldschmidt to right field. Hayward going back. Hayward at the wall. Hayward reaches up and makes the catch.
Oh my goodness. And Jason Hayward, the conversation about him is that he has been playing a tremendous right field this year. Look at that big smile, almost like he's a little bit surprised that he caught it, but I thought he had no chance. Looks up at the wall, great concentration, knows where the wall is, know how high he has to go. And that's why he is in that conversation right now as best defensive right fielder in Major League Baseball. That's an excellent catch by Jason Hayward.
Looking up into the sun, makes the catch. I don't know if that ball leaves the yard, but it's certainly extra base.
Absolutely. That ball is probably going to be off the wall and easily a double unless it takes a big bounce off the wall, potentially a triple. Aaron Harang was very happy about that. That certainly helps keep that pitch count down, keeps him in the game a little bit longer.
A chance to be the one on Fox Sports Live tonight.
I think so. He'd be smiling too.
I believe Harang was. To right field again, this time by Montero. No chance for Hayward to make that catch. And a 1-out single for Miguel Montero. Jason Hayward played some center field as well for the Braves last year, moved over to center.
He's done a really nice job, and one of the things that's been interesting as the Braves start to lock up some of the young players, ANDRELTON, SIMMONS, and FREDDIE FREEMAN, Craig Kimbrell. Jason Hayward only signed a 2-year deal, and from what I understood, that was kind of a mutual thing where he'd been doing pretty well but hadn't quite reached maybe his potential just yet. I think he wanted to hold off, knowing that if he puts together that big year that he'd be talking about a lot more money than he would have this past offseason. And he's playing very well, and the defense just continues to get better. Slowly but surely he's going to reach that superstar status I think that everyone has been kind of waiting on.
So you do think he'll get there?
He's going to get close. He's really good. You look at that body type, there is so much talent there. There's a lot of things that he does well. I think maybe he was in the big leagues. I don't want to say a little too early, but there's just a lot of learning to do at such a young age. I think it's taken him a little while to get comfortable. But he's getting there. I don't know if he'll be in that Freddie Freeman category and that kind of money, but gosh, he certainly has the potential to get there. Look at that, 6'5", 245,
and just 24 years old.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you feel like he's been around, and he has for a few years. We're almost getting used to him, and he still has his best years ahead of him.
2 balls, 1 strike. The count to Martin Parado. 1 for 3 on the day. Ground ball to second. Mastella to SIMMONS. Over to first. 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. A little bit of defense in the inning. Jason Hayward taking extra bases away from Paul Goldschmidt. innings. And he deserves those handshakes. 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. But again, you go back to that first inning, gives up 3 runs. They lose the challenge, or the challenge was overturned for the Diamondbacks. And he gives up 3 runs in that inning. And as a veteran, he just stayed in there, calmed down, gave his team a chance to come back. They did, and now he's on the hook for his 3rd consecutive victory.
He certainly got locked in after that first inning, and not a lot of emotion from Aaron Harang, at least externally. It just seemed like he kept those emotions in check the entire game, and that's part of what it takes. You have to have ability. Certainly you have to be able to pitch, but it's also the emotional part of it. He just stayed calm the entire rest of the way and threw the ball unbelievably well.
Upton fouls the pitch back, 0-2. Justin Upton played for the Arizona Diamondbacks, displayed his power there, but with the Braves, he has thoroughly enjoyed playing against his former team, including here today in the 6th inning, hitting a home run. That's his 3rd home run against his former team in his 11th game against them.
One of the downsides to trading any player as a general manager is always, is that guy going to come back and haunt us? Is it the right move? You think about it all the time, and there were some rumblings about whether or not Justin Upton fit with what the Arizona Diamondbacks were doing. But you go back to these last 2 years, the Braves in the playoffs, likely headed there again this year. The Arizona Diamondbacks are not, and Justin Upton has done very well since becoming a member of this team.
Line drive caught by Gregorius at shortstop for the first out here in the 8th. It was one of those situations, though, and I think you'd agree with me that it needed to get done. It had been rumored for so long that it just seemed to be wearing on both Justin Upton and the team.
Absolutely. Once you make those conversations public, and for me they never should be. If you're thinking about trading a player, you're having conversations about a trade, I tell my front office to zip it. Don't let that get out, because if the deal falls through, the player is still here and he may be uncomfortable, and you don't want that to happen. I think that was part of what happened a little bit with the Diamondbacks, and it just seemed like it was going to be inevitable. And the grass is definitely sometimes greener on the other side. Change of scenery, different voices, all of those things help. I think that's been the case with Justin Upton.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Jason Hayward. Last week I was in Texas and we had Phil Hughes against Yu Darvish, and Phil Hughes signed the contract this past offseason with the Twins, and he said, you know, it was just one of those things where the change was good for me, the change was good for the Yankees. It's just something that had to be done.
Oh, absolutely, especially in the case of Phil Hughes. It seemed like he couldn't breathe in New York, and that's how that market works. That's part of it. The Yankees haven't had very many homegrown guys lately, and so when they have a guy, expectations go high. Jabba Chamberlain, I think the same thing. And I think it was a definite that both of those guys were going to do much better once they got out of New York. It can be a very tough place to play.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Hayward. And he goes down swinging, 2 away. Major League Baseball's coverage of the All-Star Game festivities begin tomorrow on ESPN with a 2014 Taco Bell All-Star Selection Show at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it continues on Monday, July 14th with the 2014 Gillette Home Run Derby at 8 p.m. Eastern. I tell you what, that Home Run Derby, there's potential for it to be spectacular.
You think so? They don't remember it's in Minnesota. Big ballpark. Better bring it.
I know. There are some guys that can bring it. 2 away here for Chris Johnson. Fouls it back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Johnson 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts and a fly out to center.
It's always a fun event, but if I'm a general manager or a manager, I'm a little anxious about any of my players going.
Really?
Because they're going to go air it out for who knows how long. If they go on a run, they could be out there for an hour and a half just trying to air it out. I mean, the Chicago White Sox probably not going to contend this year, but Victor Martinez, I don't want him there. Giancarlo Stanton, I want him there. I want to watch it. I want to see it. I want to see it. Nelson Cruz, if I'm Buck Showalter, I'm like, go, but I hope you get eliminated in the first round, man. I need you the second half.
Changeup misses, 3-1. Yasiel Puig, Cespedes.
Although I'd rather see those two have a throw off.
Oh, man.
That would be more fun. A little skills challenge.
Ripped foul, watch out into the camera pit.
And that's something that could never happen in Major League Baseball. The risk of injury is just way too high. But how fun would that be to watch? You know, guys racing, Dee Gordon and Billy Hamilton going first to third, that kind of stuff.
I'm sure those GMs would love that.
No chance. They don't want it. Especially the Dodgers.
Ball 4. Johnson on base for the first time today.
Well, you know what Chris Johnson was thinking right there. You don't want that 4-strike.
Oh, yeah.
No golden sombrero for him.
2 outs, runner on first for Tommy La Stella, who has reached base 3 times today, twice via the walk, a single, a run scored, and a fly out to left. First pitch is up high for ball 1. The Braves 3 defensive outs are making it 9 in a row. Down the right field line, and that is going to get down for extra bases. A ground rule double as it one hops over the wall.
Tommy La Stella showing some strength here because it sounded like he might have hit that off the end of the bat a little bit. Didn't sound strong. Otherwise, I think that ball would have been out of here. A little bit out front against the lefty, but those are good at bats. Those are at bats Freddie Gonzalez likes to see. 7th double for him in a short amount of time that he's been in the big leagues. But the lefty on lefty at bats, those become important for a guy like Tommy La Stella when you start talking about staying power in the big leagues.
Second and third, 2 outs here for Christian Bethancourt. Bethancourt having himself a game, 3 for 4, a double, 2 singles, a run scored, and a ground out to short. First base is open. Ryan Domit is the pinch hitter on deck. For those of you tuning in for the UFC 175 pre-fight show, we will get you out there immediately at the conclusion of our game. In the meantime, though, the broadcast is currently available on Fox Sports 2 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go app and at foxsportsgo.com. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
And Bethancourt, a guy getting an opportunity because Evan Gattis is on the disabled list. A big prospect in the Braves organization. I had asked Freddie, is there a chance that maybe if Bethancourt plays well, he could become your everyday catcher? Maybe you put Evan Gattis somewhere else? I said, no chance. He said, Evan Gattis is my catcher. When he comes back healthy, he will be our catcher. They like him behind the plate. They certainly like his bat in that lineup.
3 balls and no strikes to Bethancourt.
There's Gerald Laird, former teammate of mine.
Isn't everybody a former teammate of yours?
Chris Myers loves that. It's his favorite part of the MLB whip around. Loves throwing a former teammate out there. Figures it's going to last a few more years at least, but at some point that's going to come to an end. Although, we start to go to coaching staffs. Kirk Gibson, the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, a former teammate of mine. Alan Trammell, the bench coach, a former teammate of mine. So maybe we'll get to do this for
maybe the streak continues.
Yeah.
3-1, pulled foul, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You talk about a thrill as a kid. I mean, I was in the big leagues at 22 years old, 1995. I get traded to the Detroit Tigers and walk into a clubhouse with Kirk Gibson. I grew up like everybody else. That home run gave me chills every time in the World Series. Alan Trammell is my shortstop. Lou Whitaker is my second baseman. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, these are guys that I'm watching on TV. They're legends.
And they're going, we traded David Wells for C.J. Nitkowski?
Yeah, they did not have the same reaction I had to them. It was not reciprocated, that's for sure. Though I said that to Gibby because when I got to Detroit, Gibby retired. It seemed about 2 weeks later in August. I got there at the deadline. I was traded for David Wells, and so I joked with him. I said, I hadn't seen him in probably 10 years. And I said, did I kind of have something to do with you going into retirement? Like, our team was so bad at that point. I was in the rotation. It was ugly. We had a rotation of at least 4 rookies, maybe 5. And he goes, no, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't you. He said, physically, I was done. He was having some injury issues, and he just couldn't do it anymore. Sparky Anderson managed that team, too, which was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. 3-2, hit to Gregorius at shortstop. He scoops it up, low throw, dug out by Goldschmidt, and that'll do it. We head to the ninth. The Braves trying to make it 9 in a row, lead 10-4. Is especially proud to recognize the Army's Gold Star Pin campaign, which honors the families of fallen service members. To learn more, visit goldstarpins.org. Top of the ninth here at Turner Field in Atlanta. The Braves trying to make it 9 in a row, leading Arizona 10-4. The new pitcher in the game for Atlanta is Shea Simmons, who's been impressive. This youngster out of the bullpen, 17 games, 1-0, 1.23 ERA. Look at that, 15 strikeouts compared to 2 walks.
Well, this kid's got a good arm. I got to see him make his debut against the Miami Marlins and got thrown right into the fire. Tying run on second base, comes in and strikes out. Who did he strike out? Gerald Saltalamacchia on 3 pitches. Welcome to the big leagues.
First pitch fastball to Aaron Hill is in there for a strike, going 1. Hill is 0 for 3, reaching the fielder's choice, struck out, and grounded into a double play. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
This is just another guy. When we talk about the Atlanta Braves as an organization, how well they draft and develop, this is another arm, 22nd round. Shea Simmons was drafted, and this is an impact arm. Now, they have plenty of righties, but this is a guy that can impact the bullpen.
Hill lifts one to left field. Justin Upton is there. 1 away. The King play the day brought to you by Burger King. I wonder if you can figure out which one this will be. Paul Goldschmidt in the 8th, leading off. Jason Hayward takes extra bases away from him.
It was a great catch by Jason Hayward. Great concentration. I really did not think he had any chance watching him go back in that ball. I thought it might have been a home run, but he tracked it very well. And again, we talk about Jason Hayward. He has become, if not the best, one of the best defensive right fielders in all of Major League Baseball. Things trending in the right direction for Jason.
1 away now for Gerardo Parra. Parra 2 for 3, an RBI single, a ground out, and a single. First pitch fastball is outside for ball 1.
The luxury that the Braves have here with Simmons is that they don't need him to be an impact guy, and he can be. And a lot of teams would pull a guy like this up, and he would be thrown into that 7th and 8th inning in close games. So they are so deep that he can actually develop in games like this, find his way, figure it out, in the big leagues. And then when a guy like, say, Jordan Walden or David Carpenter, it's time for them to move on, or they're making too much money, they just slide him right up, and it should be a pretty seamless transition. The arm is very, very good. The slider is solid as well.
2-0 fastball in there, 2 balls and 1 strike. The producer of today's game is Jeff Gowen. The director is Mitch Riggin. The associate director is Eric Billigmeyer, and the broadcast associate is Matt Shapiro. Our technical producer is Ann Keith, and the technical director is Brad Ashby. The crew doing a great job here on this holiday weekend in Atlanta.
They were doing all right until they got those burgers here. Then it just went over the top.
And it was fantastic. You know, we talk about this winning streak here for Atlanta coming into this game, a season high 8 games, 9-1 over the last 10, 12-3 over the last 15. And people have known this team as, you know, a team that can rely on the home runs or strikeouts. That's what they do. Well, that home run by Justin Upton that he went the other way with broke a streak of 28 straight runs for the Braves without a home run.
Well, that's good news for them, because what you don't want to become is that team that gets reliant on the home run. And so even if the Atlanta Braves win the division or make it into the postseason, you're going to run up against the best pitching in the game. And when you do that, if you're a swing and miss team that relies on home runs, you have a tendency to likely get shut down. So if they can find other ways to score runs, it becomes very important and increases their chances of advancing should they get to the postseason.
After the walk to Parra, Gregorius at the plate with 1 out here in the 9th. And the fastball's in there, first strike. Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 85th All-Star Game Tuesday, July 15th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Fouled away. 0-2.
Oh my! He took it in the gut first, got up, and went head over heels over the crossbar to get it. Now for me, I'm down. Like, the ball already hit him in the stomach, but now he's up and over. Watch your face. He earned it. If he's got it, he's earned it. Don't give it to a kid. That's a keeper.
I'm going to say that he has never gotten a foul ball before.
What you didn't see in that replay is that it hit him in the stomach first. It bounced and hit him. Went the other direction, and then he went chasing.
Ground ball. Simmons will flip to La Stella over to first, and that is the game-ending 6-4-3 double play. The win streak hits 9 for these Atlanta Braves as they take this one by the score of 10-4. Aaron Harang improves to 8-6, while Bolsinger falls to 1-5. The Braves are streaking here in Atlanta. Now we'll go back to our studio in Los Angeles for post-game coverage. The crew is standing by. Kevin Burkhardt, Frank Thomas, Mark Sweeney. Guys, take it away.